Is there any part of you that can accept this trade?
No, zero. Because if you want to be taken seriously as a franchise, you cannot treat your captain, your 16-year tenured player, this way.
Ice is ready, and we are back with another episode of the Empty Netters podcast brought to you by BetMGM. I am your host, Dan Powers. Next to me, he is possibly the most inconvenient man who's ever lived. He's the most unlucky person that exists on this planet. Doing anything with him is the worst because his inconveniences and his bad luck rubs off on you. Someone who has been on 12 planes in a row now who have all been delayed in some sort of manner because he is just that guy, Chris Powers.
As always, I walked into a Best Buy with Dan to buy something that was going to be right at the front. I was literally like, dude, don't even park. Park in the
Pull up
in the tow away.
to the pickup zone.
Yeah, pick up. I get out of the car. I run inside. It's a Best Buy, dude. I was actually kind of sad to see Best Buy, the state of Best Buys. I loved a Best Buy.
They're a ghost town.
Ghost town, and there's just one register open. You know, it's middle of the day, middle of the goddamn day.
Yeah.
Walk in, one register open. I grab the thing. There's no one at the register. So I walk in, see the girl at the register, see my item, grab it, turn to approach the girl, and an older lady steps in front of me. And she didn't like cut me off or anything. She just like she got to the register.
Yeah.
So I just get right behind her, and the girl goes, "Can I help you?" to the woman, and the woman goes, "Yeah, I have a very complicated return." And I was like, amazing, dude. Why don't I just sit here for 20 goddamn minutes when I just want to buy this adapter, dude?
Yeah.
And then I did. I sat there for 20 minutes, and you said,
Yeah.
"What the fuck happened?" And I said,
Yeah, it's astounding, man.
Yep.
It's like truly astounding. I don't know why you are the way that you are. It sucks for us.
it sucks for you guys more because I have made peace with it.
Yeah, and I respect you.
life.
I respect you for making peace with it. I think the issue that we all have, the people who have to deal with it, is I feel like I've done nothing wrong in my life. And then whenever I do something with you, just anything that can go wrong goes wrong because you're there. Mm-hmm. When you're not there, everything's great. All my flights are smooth.
Yep.
All my experiences are great. And then when you're involved, something absurd has to happen. What do you think you did something to make this the case?
I don't know. And to just quickly piggyback on your points there, you all taste normalcy.
Yeah.
And then that's why it's so much harder for you. You experience smoothness.
Yes.
And then you have to experience roughness with me.
Yeah.
Whereas
we don't know adversity.
My smooth is your rough. Like that is like a flight gets delayed. Well, I land and they go like this. Our gate blew up. We have to lap the airport and find a new one. And I go like this. Perfect. Sounds good to me.
No, you're not even listening.
Yeah.
You're still reading your book because you know something is going to happen.
Like people go, when does your flight land? And I see that it says 11:45 a.m. and I go 2:30.
Yeah, there's that scene, and I think it's the Ballad of Buster Scruggs, where James Franco has a noose around his neck, and he looks to the guy next to him with a noose around his neck who's crying and shivering, and Franco's like, first time. Yeah. I think that's you.
Yeah.
But something awful happens, you're completely unfazed.
Yeah. I'm prepared.
And that's good for you, I suppose.
And yeah, I think it's a combo of either in a past life, I had it all. You know, it's not like I did something bad. It's in a past life, everything worked. I probably won the lottery.
You're a past life guy?
No, but now we're discussing options. One option is in a past life.
You can't declare the reason for your misfortune is because in a past life you were incredibly fortunate, and then also claim that you're not a past life guy.
This isn't my choice as to what is the reason why. We're discussing here are all the reasons that this might be happening.
The possible
reason one is in a past life I had it all,
but you don't believe that.
That's not my choice.
Okay.
Another reason is something incredible
is coming.
Do
you think maybe we're running out of time? Maybe we need to talk to the gods. Maybe we need to test the juju out there and just say, hey, tick, tick, tick.
Dude, I could use it.
Yeah, like, something great's coming? That sounds awesome. I'd love that to happen. I'd love to not be a decrepit old man when that happens.
Dude, but here's the thing. It might be the next life. You know?
No, that's not how it works. That's not how it works.
The next life.
Like, you can't be paying for something because a great fortune is coming your way, but you're going to get it in the next life. Because what if that next life guy sucks?
Yeah, I need it now.
You need it.
Because I'm zeroing out in a lot of things.
Tick, 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 dude.
And,
I'm losing a lot of time on these flights, man.
Dude. And that's probably it. Those are the two options.
Yeah,
We've said before that I'm one of God's toughest soldiers.
You are.
So.
You are God's strongest soldier. That's why he's just putting you through tests. Just seeing what you can withstand.
My God, dude.
It's unbelievable. Did you have a good weekend skiing?
I had a great time. We we went right from Minnesota, which we're going to get to in a second.
Oh, yeah.
Right from the unparalleled high school tournament in Minnesota, which is so sick.
What a time.
The production value, Dan.
What a time.
There's a replay guy. We met him.
Yeah.
Phil?
I think Phil.
I think it was Phil.
Yeah. But I mean, 11 a.m. on a Thursday, XL Energy Center is absolutely packed.
Backs against the cement, top deck.
Unbelievable. So that's high school football in Texas level.
Yeah,
It's like everyone in Minnesota. Minnesota does it right. That's what I put on the story. These folks know how to celebrate hockey.
Yep.
We were talking to a couple of kids. I always felt odd when I was in high school and you'd go to games and all your friends would show up. The nostalgia of those moments, looking at like, damn.
Yeah.
They're all looking at all the kids in the stands and being like, that was the best. When I was in high school in Maine and then Massachusetts, the friends in the stands were predominantly the other athletes, like the basketball guys, football guys, hockey girls, field hockey gals, stuff like that. In Minnesota, it is I feel like your Landry in Friday Night Lights before he joins the team, where if you're a dude in the stands watching the hockey game and you look reasonably athletic, I'm like, why aren't you on this team?
Yeah. What's wrong with you?
Because in Minnesota, I'm like, do you play basketball?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Maybe you got cut.
Maybe you're not good enough. Makes me sad.
Yeah, me too.
I don't want anyone to get cut.
Yeah, more teams.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll get into the Minnesota tournament. Osh will get into the Minnesota tournament.
Yes.
Incredible time. We went right from there to Utah to go skiing Saturday and Sunday. And we got really lucky with snow.
Yeah.
Really lucky with snow. And I thought we had a great house.
I loved the house. Great kitchen. I did a lot of cooking. And that's my happy place. So I was buzzing. Great kitchen, good cooking, good, hot tub, all that stuff. I have a very significant gripe with Airbnb. It's
Dude, go on, because I know I'm going through
do you think you agree?
Yes.
Airbnb used to be a good thing. I think it was a great alternative to hotels, especially when you have a big group, which I do think it still has value in.
The trip has a different vibe if you're all at the end of the night, have everybody go to your own,
Yeah.
two of you to a pop, go to your own hotel room.
Yeah. If you are a large group, like a bachelor party, bachelorette, a ski trip, something like this, yes, I think the Airbnb still serves a purpose because you keep the large group together. But I can't get over how out of control Airbnb has got with all of the fees. First of all, it's not cheaper than hotels anymore. If you're two people and you're like, we're going to get an Airbnb instead of a hotel, which used to be a good option because it cost less money. Now it's just as much as hotels. And then you get there and they go, by the way, there's a cleaning fee. And I go, oh, okay, that makes sense. I'm going to leave this house less clean than it was and it'll be cleaned. That makes sense. But they also go, but also when you leave, strip all the beds, grab all the towels, put them in the washing machine, run a load, get all of the dishes, put them in the dishwasher, wash the dishes, put the dishes away. And I'm like, why the fuck am I paying for a cleaning fee if before I leave, I have to clean this entire fucking house? Do you want me to wash your car in the driveway as well? What are we talking about here? Dude, it's insane.
Quit your job, start a cleaning business, clean this house, clean my neighbor's house. And then also pay for this. Dan, I'm about to get fired up because...
Get fired up. Get fired right up.
It's already like this. And again, I actually really like the house we were at. So I'm not those guys.
Good house.
But we go to places at Airbnbs and there's one towel per,
Yeah.
per, at least when we were in a big group, less towels than
Yeah.
you need. But it's one towel per person that I'm there for a week.
Yeah.
So it's just like my towel is just soaking wet. At a hotel, here's a fresh towel. Here's your bed's been made. You get none of that in Airbnb. And that's fine because I've got my group and I've got my kitchen and I've got my space. I'm trading some of that. I can live with that.
Yep.
What I can't live with is the fact that you are charging me to get the house cleaned. Of course you should do that. That's part of a hotel fee. There's part of the hotel fee that is, we're going to clean the room after you leave. No shit. But I fucking leave that hotel room
a disaster.
Dude. Yeah,
and you come in and clean it.
Fucking my late night Taco Bell bag is on the fucking desk still. The towels are all over the fucking place. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But you have a staff that cleans this. There are cleaners that come to the Airbnb house. I will pay for them. No problem. Stop fucking checklisting me when I leave, dude. I will not run a fucking load of the dishwasher or the laundry or anything else, dude. Good day.
It's an absolute
clean the house.
It's an absolute joke. Either charge me for a cleaning fee, and then I should be able to stand on the dining room table and projectile vomit all over it, and then walk my sweet ass out of the Airbnb because I have paid for the cleaning fee. Or do not charge me for that, and then be like, and you have to you have to clean up a little bit. Then I'm like, fine, fair trade. But we're just getting absurd here. It's because
they charge you, Dan, if you don't do this shit. And obviously we're being hyperbolic. Like if you trash the house, if I actually puked everywhere and left it, I should get charged more. They should go, you owe me a month's mortgage. And I would go, good point. I puked all over the house. But if I just live in the house and don't destroy it by any means, I'm not doing all the cleanup.
I know.
It derails the entire checkout. Because I gotta like get to the airport with our rental cars, and then we're like, everybody wake up 2 hours early so we can fucking sweep the goddamn house.
It's literally a fucking nightmare. It is a nightmare how you genuinely have to allocate 2 hours before you're leaving to make sure that you do all the bullshit that Airbnb hosts are asking us to do.
What would you do? What's like the genuinely, I'm like, ask me to do this and I will still pay the cleaning fee. I think it'd be like strip the beds, throw the towels in the bathroom.
No, literally nothing, dude.
Yeah.
Do nothing unless you have done something absurd to the house. Like you said, if you puke all over the bathroom, clean that up. Yeah. Sure. But I should be able to leave dishes in the sink. I should be able to leave the beds exactly as they are and towels on the fucking floor of the bathroom.
Trash in the bins. Trash in the bins. In bags in the bins.
But that's what I'm fine to do. Like when you tie the trash bags out and leave them outside the front door or something, wherever the trash is left. That I get because don't have the house stink like trash. But presumably a person is coming to clean the next day or the day of.
They better be because they're like, get the fuck out. It's 10:01.
Seriously.
Like, all right, dude.
I should have to do zero things beyond something absurd that I have done to the house. It's bullshit.
Yep.
And here's the thing: I am team hotel. I am big hotel.
You're back.
Oh, I'm so back.
Yeah.
Again, like I said, unless I'm with more than 5 people, more than 5, and I'm like, I'll do an Airbnb because it's fun for all of us to be together. But if it's 5 or less, team hotel.
I would even go maybe 4 because that's just 2 rooms. Unless you're gonna go Toff, Mac, and Will and just throw a cot in there.
I'm going cot.
Okay, yeah.
No, I would do 5 fucking single hotel rooms, dude.
Okay.
Like it's just 6 or more. That's a group.
Yeah, it's a hang.
If more than 5, 6 or more, and that's a group. I am big hotel all fucking day after the absolute bullshit that Airbnb puts us through. Ridiculous. That said, great trip.
Great trip.
Great trip.
Great trip.
Okay.
All right, gang. Got to talk to you guys about BetMGM and the incredible offers they have cooking for you right now. One of my favorites is the second chance promotion. So if you bet any player will be the first goal scorer, and then they are the second goal scorer, you get your stake back in cash. How about that? You don't have to be right. You can be second to right, and then you're still golden because you get it all back in cash. And when you download that BetMGM app and you use promo code NETTERS, that's NETTERS, when you sign up, you can get up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your first bet loses. So they got you cooking in a multiple different ways. Whatever you want. Try that first goal score. Try your first bet. No matter what happens, BetMGM is going to have your back if you use that promo code NETTERS. So don't forget to do it when you download the app and get on the action right now. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY for New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 for Massachusetts. 21 plus only. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP for Arizona. 1-800-BETS-OFF for Iowa. 1-800-981-0023 for Puerto Rico. First bet offer for new customers only. Subject to eligibility requirements. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. See BetMGM.com for terms. U.S. promotional offers not available in New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico.
This is the hot ice everyone has been waiting for. Craziest trade deadline of the last 10 years, without question.
Yeah.
Without question, there's so much we need to get into.
We
were covering the trade deadline. By the way, I don't like being an insider. It's awful.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
It's so stressful. It's too much work. We're at the Minnesota tournament. Then we did some skiing over the weekend, and it's just the whole time I'm just freaking out with how much is going on. And I feel so bad for guys, our boy Darren, our boy Jeff, obviously Elliot, beasts, just grinding. So huge stick taps to all those guys. We covered a lot of this. We talked about a lot of this, and we've saved the most of it for this podcast because we knew this podcast was going to be a fucking banger. There's one close to home for us that we're going to save for the end.
Yep.
Let's start with probably the hottest one. Mikko Rantanen traded to the Dallas Stars. Back the other way, Logan Stankoven, a 2026 first-round pick, top 10 protected.
Which almost certainly won't be.
Correct.
So as in top 10. So they're getting a 2026 first-round pick.
A 2028 first-round pick, top 10 protected.
Same.
2026 third-round pick and a 2027 third-round pick. All go to Carolina in exchange for Rantanen. So we discussed the possibility of this. And I actually I'm going to go not positive, DP.
Whoa.
Because I have been quite embarrassed for Carolina Hurricanes fans the past several days.
Okay.
Let me be very clear. Before we get into the details of this trade, what it means for both teams, let me be very clear. Mikko Rantanen not re-signing there. If you have a problem with him not re-signing, or signing, we'll call it, in Carolina, you are a loser.
As
in my opinion.
As in, if you are a Canes fan or an anybody fan and you're mad at him for not signing?
Yes.
Okay, I think I agree with that.
This guy has zero connection to the Carolina Hurricanes.
He didn't get asked to be traded there.
He did not ask to be traded there.
Blindsided by that trade.
By his own mouth,
Quote.
he was, quote, blindsided.
Yep.
Now, tons of Canes fans are pulling we have reports from Elliot Friedman, Rantanen's camp, and Rantanen himself said he'd be open to signing with Dude, we're done right there. The sentence and the term and the sentiment, you are open to signing with a team. You guys need to wake the fuck up about agent speak, player speak, GM speak, owner speak. Everyone lies.
Yeah.
Everyone lies to paint their own narrative to save face. Wake the fuck up. So all of you fans going like this, well, they said this, and then not considering what your GM has said and what your owner has said, they're fucking lying too. An agent and a player going, we're open to signing with blank team. You don't think maybe that's a little bit of strategy to have the team you're with give you a better offer? You don't think it's maybe a strategy to keep options open? Again, wake up. So many people cling to this. Rantanen is a liar and he's a piece of shit because they said that they'd be open to signing with Carolina. Then they waited to the last second and they fucked over Carolina. Shut up, dude.
Yeah.
No, they didn't do anything other than it's the player determining the next 8 years of his fucking life and career, thinking about his family. He gets to do whatever the fuck he wants, as far as I'm concerned. And ultimately, it seems like they were pretty transparent with Carolina and said, we're not signing here, so you might as well trade us. So you're fucking welcome. The one thing I will hear fans being mad about, we'll never know this for sure, it did feel like he was mailing it in when he was playing for them. I will say that
Which
straight
doesn't
up.
help your trade value, though. It wouldn't behoove him to be like, oh, I'm just going to be terrible now.
I agree.
Because then it goes, oh, it is a Nate thing.
Yep.
That was a narrative, is all I'm saying.
And I don't think there's a certainty, and I certainly don't think that he actively went like this. I'm going to slack off while playing for these guys. I think he was in a bad mood. Mm-hmm. I think he was upset about the trade. I think he was, unsure of what was going on in his future, and he wasn't in the right mental state, and he did not play as well as he could. I'm not blaming him for that. I think he probably could have done better, but whatever. So I just can't stand this whole, he fucked over the Canes. Dude, he didn't ask to be traded there.
Yep.
He didn't look at Colorado and go, trade me to this team. I'm definitely going to sign with them, and then decided to fuck you last minute. Dude, this stuff is complicated. Is it okay to be pissed off about it? Of course. If this was my favorite team, I'd be gutted by this. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, you've got some great picks. Tulski, I think, made a huge error in making this trade in the first place. That's how I feel about the Gensel trade. You have 2 years in a row now, traded significant pieces for a superstar who went, I am not re-signing here.
Yeah.
And now there's all the excuses. Well, Gensel would have signed if the cap situation, blah, 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 blah. Dude, you don't think that Carolina was trying desperately to sign Gensel? Yep. Again, wake up.
Yep.
And dude, we don't, there's no fan base, there's no team that we hate here. So we're not shitting on anyone. We are being objective, as we always try to do. And like we say all the time, we give shit where shit is due. And I think, Carolina, you deserve to get some shit here.
Agree.
Now, I will also say, like we said before, I think Tulsky made a good move making this trade. And at the end of the day, are you worse than you were before you made this Mikko Rantanen trade? Yeah.
Before you did anything, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
No one, I mean the initial trade.
Yep.
Like, anyone who disagrees with that is fucking blind. You had Marty Necas and Jack Drury on your team. Now you have Logan Stankoven.
Yep.
You're worse.
Oh, especially this year. Like
that's what I'm saying. This year,
right now.
I don't mean overall. Everyone calm down.
Yep.
I don't mean overall. I don't mean in the future. Right now, you are a top team in the East, and you and Rod and Tulsky, you're going, we're trying to win the cup this year.
Yeah.
Well, you're now worse.
Yeah.
You are objectively worse right
so
now.
Awesome, dude.
This season, you are objectively worse.
Yep.
Now, you got 2 firsts, you got 2/3 in that trade. Like, I mean, you got a first in the initial trade too. Like, you've got good picks here.
Yeah.
This is great. It's exciting summer. You could do a lot with that. But let's not act like this was all according to plan. That is not the case. That's why you deserve to get some shit.
Yep.
But ultimately, when put in a bad situation, I think Tulsky did what he had to do, and that is good. But I just really think everyone needs to cool their fucking jets on going, Mikko Rantanen sucks at hockey anyway. We didn't even want him in the first place. He's a Nathan McKinnon merchant. You sound like a fucking moron.
Yeah. Okay, so several things here, Dan. First, just on the points, this isn't even for a debate, it's just funny. Rantanen had 64 points, 25 goals and 39 assists in 49 games with Colorado.
What a bad player. It's only because of Nate.
Tremendous. Then he had, in 13 games with Carolina, 6 points, 2 goals and 4 assists. And then in 2 games for Dallas, he has 3 points already, 2 goals scored in both games, 2 goals and an assist in 3 games. But tiny sample size, but like...
Going pretty well.
If he just goes nuclear for the Stars, it's like, what the fuck? I want to say this. I'm going back to the first trade.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me to even think, and I believe we said this when it happened, but if we didn't, this is how I feel, that if you go, we need to win the cup right fucking now, that you felt like getting Mikko Rantanen was so much better than having Necas and Drury, that you are now winning the cup. Mm-hmm. Like, that is already a crazy thought to me. And I think Rantanen is the best player in that trade. I said that in the time, but you and I both said that we had felt like Colorado had won
in real time
too.
too. And I will show a ton of love and respect to a lot of fans have DM'd us, been like, you guys said that Colorado won that trade right off the bat, and boy, were you right.
And whatever, even if Rantanen had been playing Rantanen level, I still would have felt that way, just because I was like, usually I said on the pod, usually you air with whichever guy got the best player, and that's Rantanen, in my opinion.
Yes.
But just, if I'm the Hurricanes and I go, God, we got to win right now, you trade like prospects for Rantanen. You trade like all your draft picks and all your best prospects, so you have Necas and Rantanen, and then you win the cup, or you try to win the cup.
Agree.
To just swing out Necas.
I didn't like the trade at all.
Yep.
And like we've said before, I felt this way with the Gensel trade. Dude, you just can't make this trade. Got team-controlled guys with term. You trade those guys for Rantanen. And immediately, what was you know what's really funny too? I actually hope some people man up and DM us again and reply to us. We posted that clip where the title clip was someone in Carolina needs to get fired. And we got a few people who were like, this is all media bullshit, dude. He's not going anywhere. Fucking you guys and Chicklets and all these guys talking about this is the only reason this is a narrative. Well, he just got traded. So
cinema, dude.
Dude, man the fuck up and DM us and apologize. Yeah. I obviously don't need that. I'm just joking around. But ultimately, dude, we were talking about that. I feel like sometimes, listen, dude, we're here to have fun. We love everybody. I'm not just saying that. We genuinely mean that. Whenever we go on these rants and I'm like, this is a fucking terrible, like, we're just having fun talking about the sport that we love. So I don't want anyone to ever feel bad or feel sad. But ultimately, dude, we aren't morons.
Yep.
We do know things. I want people to know.
I
that.
know stuff.
We know stuff and we talk to people. So when we're sitting here on the show going, I don't think he's re-signing there, the day after he gets traded, it's not always us just fucking around, guys. Like we've heard certain things. Everyone was saying that.
Yep.
So my point with Tulsky is like, how do you make that trade when people like us
are hearing
like, I doubt he's re-signing with you guys? You have to be so sure. If you make a trade like that and you lose guys like Natchez and Drury, you gotta be damn sure Rantanen's gonna sign with you,
or you have a better bid at it than it sounds like you had.
Yeah, I don't even know if I'm at that point. You see this shit, dude. The holdup of the Dallas trade was the extension.
Yep.
He got traded to Dallas, and they knew instantly you were going to get your ass on a plane here and sign on the dotted line.
Yeah.
8 years, $12 million.
Yeah.
When Hampus Lindholm got traded to Boston, the second the trade happened, boom, extension. Like, you got to know that.
It makes it feel like the Avalanche Carolina trade was getting put together an hour before the deadline.
Yes.
Instead of being like, okay, you like
It was
these terms,
6,
Colorado?
7 weeks
Great.
ago.
Tell him that he has to agree to an extension before we do this, but we agree to these terms. And then you start having the conversation.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, so with you on that. I wanted to read this tweet that you sent me, which is so funny. Do you remember this?
Dude.
This is from Michael Dixon, who's a Dallas radio host. This is before the trade. One day, I'm going to tell my kid about how Mikko Rantanen was traded twice in 6 weeks. And he will say, quote, "Oh, nice," quote, and then go back to playing harp because he's musically inclined. And I told him not to care about sports because they'll ruin your life.
Such a good tweet.
He goes, "Oh, nice.
Oh, cool.
Yeah." Okay, dude. Here's what I really want to dig into. So, it's shaking out how it's shaking out. We're going to get into the Central Division in a second, but I actually just wanted to dig into this really quickly, Dan.
Hit me.
The Canes are worse right now. Agree.
Yes.
The Avalanche traded away Mikko Rantanen and got Natchez and Drury and a second-round pick in 2025 and a fourth-round pick in 2026. Yeah. I still think, and now he's definitely not re-signing in Colorado because he plays for Dallas for the next 8 years. Because there was a lot of like, this is going to be hilarious when Rantanen comes back. Rantanen is gone, and you have Natchez and Drury and those two picks. Mm-hmm. And you know how I feel about non-first-round picks. But like, whatever, you got a second-rounder in there. Okay.
I do really quick want to give flowers to, I'm not sure how much of a choice you had, but Carolina, after this disaster, trading Mikko to a team in division is awesome.
Dude.
That is so Tom Petty.
Colorado, and they kept cooking, and we're going to get to them in a second too, but that trade, if you're the Avs, I'm pretty happy with that return. I hate to lose a Rantanen. I really do. But I'm like, okay.
I disagree. I think you're thrilled. That's what we said. You won that trade.
Agree you won that trade. But let's just pause there for a second. Okay. The Carolina Hurricanes, because we had said that if Carolina was going to trade Rantanen, they're fucked. In the same way that Vancouver was fucked with JT. We said that both. We were like, they're hamstrung. They're not going to be able to get anything back. Everyone knows you're bent over a barrel here. You're going to get fleeced on this Rantanen trade. The Carolina Hurricanes got Stankoven and 2 first-round picks.
And 2/3.
Along with the 2/3. But like Stankoven and 2 first-round picks.
It's a great return. Didn't get fleeced at all.
Is that better than the Avs return? Like, I think the Avs actually got worse back than the Canes did.
No, because and this is where I'm going to stand firm on this. It's exactly the clip we posted last week, dude, and we talked about it in Thursday's episode of the pod. Picks are just hope, dude.
Yep.
And hope is a good thing, maybe the best of things.
The best of things.
But ultimately, Marty Natchez is an all-star NHL player.
Yep.
And Jack Drury, I think, has a ton of potential and is a very good bottom 6 player.
Yeah.
You get guys, and this is, we pinned, whoever you are, we pinned a comment on that post. They said, players win cups, not prospects. And that is how I feel.
Yep.
Because here's the deal.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the parade's not prospects one. That was sick.
Yeah, parade. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Parade's not prospects.
Yeah.
And like, that's facts, dude.
It's facts.
And my thing is, like, you got an all-star back for an all-star. And like, look at Natchez in Colorado right now.
Dominant. Fuck.
He's also under contract. Like, you got him at the same cap hit next year. Like, it's just, I don't think the return is better because, like, do 2 future first round
and they
picks,
are down the road, 26 and 28.
Yeah. The 26 is a great move though, because next year's draft is better than this year's
that's
draft.
That's 25.
What?
Like Colorado traded.
No, they got a first round pick in 2026 and 2028, right?
Yes, but I'm saying this draft is 25.
Yeah, no, I'm saying it's good that they got 26 because 26 is a better draft than this year.
Got it.
So it's great, but like how many? We talked about it last week. How many first round picks bust? The majority of them.
Mm-hmm.
The majority of them.
Okay, so I was legitimately wondering that. I think you're right.
It's also tough. I'm sorry to interrupt. It's also tough for Carolina because you're in win now.
I agree. That was what we said
You
at the beginning.
want players
That's
back.
what we said at the beginning. It's insane that you were like, we got to win the cup, and you did any of this, right? Because you are not winning the cup this year. So I think I agree with you slightly that Colorado did get a better return for Rantanen than Carolina got return for Rantanen.
Yeah, and I'll also agree, like, it's not way better. Like, they're close.
I really believe
close.
Stankoven is going to be like a perennial all-star.
I completely agree.
So you're kind of like, okay, well, that washes out Natchez, and then you got 2 first-round picks, and I just need one of them to be better than Jack Drury. So I'm like, we can revisit this in 10 years, and there's a chance. Actually, agree with me on that. We can revisit this in 10 years, and there's a chance that Carolina's return is better if they hit those 2 picks. If they hit them. Like, you're like, oh, shit, I took 2 first-rounders who became fringe all-stars. Then I'm like, yeah, you got better. So whatever. But you hear my point.
Yeah.
Then, Dan, everyone's wanting to rinse Carolina, which we kind of just did. But at the end of the day, you traded away Natchez. You traded away Natchez, Drury, a 2nd-rounder, and a 4th-rounder for Stankoven, 2 firsts and 2 thirds.
Yes.
And I'm kind of like, that's a great return for Natchez and Drury.
Yes, it is.
And if I trade away Natchez and Drury and I get Stankoven and 2 firsts and 2 thirds, I'm like, oh,
yes,
that was a great trade.
Yes.
Not for win now.
And I love that take, and I think a lot of Carolina fans are looking at it like that.
Yeah.
And what we've said a number of times, and this is where I'm saying, like, I'm not shitting on anyone. I'm going to be completely honest on all fronts. The return is not bad.
Yeah.
You are worse this year, which is, in my opinion, for a team whose window is open and you're trying to win the cup right now, that's not a good look, guys.
Yeah.
Like, what team who's like, we could win the cup this year at the trade deadline gets worse? No one.
Insane.
So that's why it's bad. It's a bad look. Is the return overall good? Yeah, it is. But you are worse right now, and it looks awful. Because for 2 years in a row, you've had a superstar on your team that actively went, I'm not coming back here. That's not good.
Yeah, correct. Okay.
You're not a poorly run team. You don't have a bad GM. You don't have a bad coach. That's not what we're saying. We're saying these are bad looks. GMs and coaches have bad looks all the fucking time.
Yep.
This one is currently a bad look. That's all we're saying.
Yeah, but it's
and
fun.
Fucking wear it too, dude.
Dude.
Like there have been a lot of Canes fans who have been like, this fucking sucks, dude. And God bless you, because like that's part of being a fan, guys. Don't be this blind fan who goes, like there's so many people in our DMs right now. We've got certain fans of teams like Pittsburgh fans and Islanders fans who are like, you don't fucking get it. Like we've got the best prospect pool in the world. Our draft picks are unbelievable. Blah blah blah, dude. Take the good and the bad. Part of being a fan and getting through your day is acknowledging when bad shit has happened. This was not good.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Okay, and here's my last question, because we basically feel like Colorado came up pretty well. Dallas came out great because you wanted to take a swing and you fucking did. And Carolina actually didn't come out that badly when you wash everything out.
Totally.
Did Mikko Rantanen win here? Because, dude, from the reports that we were hearing, and I'll never know for sure, but Colorado was offering him 8 by 13.5.
Yeah,
to just stay on Nate's wing, and now he plays for Dallas at 8 by 12. No state tax in Texas, so that matters.
So I think this is where I'm at. I'm just super confused,
dude.
What we were told by some pretty good sources is early in the year, before Draisaitl extended, there was something along the lines of 8 by, I think it was like 12.6.
Because
I think it was,
isn't Nate
12.5 or 4, right? Look that up. Because I think it was just a hair above Nate. And like that was the point. Like they were like, yeah, it's going to be more because of the market, but they don't want to blow him out of the water, and neither does Mikko. 12.6. Yeah. So I think they were saying it was like 12.5 to 12.8, something either above or below. Then Draisaitl signed for 14, and everyone lost their minds. And I think Rantanen was like, okay, I need more. And his camp were like, I need more, which again, I don't hate. It's a fucking business, dude. Also, something that's important for people to know, we just passed daylight savings times, which means it is officially spring. It's officially that type of season and that moment where you've got to get the best ready for anything spirit flowing. And we got to start making some cocktails. We got to start finding the comfort zone here. And the best way to do that is with a Southern Comfort, the perfect blend of fruits and spices to make the best cocktail you've ever had in your life. We've got some unbelievable mixtures going, guys. We talked about SoCo and Diet Dr. Pepper. And then the other week, I dropped SoCo and Diet Orange Soda on all of you guys. We popped that on the Instagram page. People lost their minds. They couldn't believe how delicious it was. Like I said, perfect blend of fruits and spices. You got that orange in there. That is a fruit. You add spice to orange all the time. We do it with hot toddies. You do it with, mulled wine. You do it with anything you want. And now we're doing it with SoCo. And it's amazing. You guys loved it. And what we need you to do is find your comfort zone. And we need you to DM us some of your favorite SoCo mixtures. Whatever that mixture is that you use with SoCo that gets that best flavor possible, we want you to send it to us so we can keep adding to this catalog. By the end of this, we're going to have a recipe book. We're going to have a SoCo Comfort Zone book filled with all the drinks we come up with. So make sure you DM us one. We can find that comfort zone together, and we can all enjoy some Southern comfort. When you guys see these NHL players' contract, they get half of that money.
Yes.
Everyone, please understand that. When you look at someone's career earnings, let's say someone hypothetically has $80 million in career earnings, they probably saw less than 40 of that. If you are in a state tax state, that's a factor. But then the money that goes to your agents, to your trainers, to your manager, to the league, all those dues, you get half of that money, guys. So please remember that when you're being harsh to these guys. This is a business. This is your life. I don't blame them for wanting more. But yeah, there's rumors that they went up to 13.5, and he was like, no. Then he gets traded, and he was blindsided because when he says I'm blindsided, I think he was like, I thought they were going to just.
And remember, he said I'm blindsided because I said I would have taken a discount. He said that out loud.
And I think he was like, I expected another talk. I expected us to go back to the tables, not to get fucking traded. Then we're hearing that Carolina was giving 12.5. And he's like, oh, I'm going to Dallas. Again, that one, fans who are butthurt about that, I'm like,
oh, yeah.
No state tax. Frankly, I think Dallas is a better team. I think it's a better city as far as what we're hearing he wants. Hearing that for multiple reasons he wanted a bigger city. Yep. It's a bigger city, so like you can't be mad at that. And then, the no state tax, you're making more money. Mm-hmm. You are. I don't think, there are a lot of people who are like, dude, he looks like such an idiot. I don't think that's true at all. I do genuinely think like the difference between 12 and 13.5, I think it might net out to like maybe he's still getting less, I think, even when you consider the no state tax, I think.
He's getting less in Dallas?
Yeah.
Maybe because
I think someone like
depends
crunched.
on what the Avalanche actually offer.
And like what the breakdown is too.
Yep.
I think it's just weird. I think this whole situation is weird.
Crazy,
and I would really love to talk to him off the record, and this will never happen, and be like, are you bummed?
Yeah, like if you could
do it all again,
yes, I'll stay with Colorado.
Would you have just re-signed? And I bet he would say yes. Truly, I bet he would be like, yeah. Why did I ever leave? What the fuck happened?
And I think Colorado would want that too. Just for, like they're so happy with Natchez and Drew. With Natchez and Drew. Don't get me wrong, but just I think if both could wave the wands and then just go, yo, let's just you stay here, play with Nate 8x12. They would both go, okay,
dude. And we've talked about it. It looks very much like no one's catching Winnipeg, and I do think that Colorado is going to catch Minnesota, and these two teams are going to play in the first round.
Yeah, they already have.
Colorado is currently in the third seed. No, let's talk about it right now. They're currently in the third seed, which means they're probably going to play Dallas in the first round. And I think so much of Mikko Rantanen's mental state is riding on that series.
Yeah. So
imagine if Colorado wins and then they win the cup. And Rantanen is just like, I could have just been there. We could have had our second cup, and it could have been me and Nate and Kale forever.
Yeah, forever. Win multiple cups together. Let's talk Colorado first.
Yeah.
So Dallas swings big, gets Rantanen. Colorado, first thing we heard, Brock Nelson trade. The Islanders send Nelson and William Dufour to the Avs in exchange for Oliver Killington, Callum Ritchie, a first-round pick in 2026, or 2027, and a conditional third-round pick in 2028.
Yep. Great
trade.
Return.
Great trade, great return. Really good for both teams.
I think Callum Ritchie's a very good player too.
Same. People were pissed about that.
I know. I think there was a lot of Colorado fans that were like, fuck, I don't love this.
Yep.
And I think a lot of that revolves around, I think Callum Ritchie's a very good little player.
Yep. We can't reveal the source, but there was a team that had Brock Nelson like nearly done.
Yeah, trade about done.
Clearly not done because it didn't happen, but like there was a team, we got a call from someone directly involved who was like, hey,
we'll say it was an Eastern Conference team.
This is Brock is on this Eastern Conference team. This is over.
Yeah.
Then boom, tweet, he's on the Avs.
Yeah.
Avalanche had said since the Rantanen trade, we're not done. We were like, man, if they get another big time scorer center, that would be huge. I think, who did you say? Shen? You were like, they have eyes on.
Yeah, I thought Shen could have been an option.
Yeah. And then they get Brock. And especially since we had heard the other team, hearing actually it's the Avs, just made it feel even bigger to me, where I was like, holy fuck, dude. They are not standing down in this moment.
Yeah.
So that was massive. Then they also trade for Charlie Coyle. Bruins trade Coyle and a 2026 first-round pick to the Avs in exchange for Casey Middlestat.
It's fifth.
Or sorry, 5th-round pick. Yeah, thank you. To the Avs in exchange for Casey Middlestat, Will Zellers, and a conditional 2025 second-round pick. Also great return, I felt like. I don't know how you thought.
Loved. Fantastic. It's funny, I tweeted out a while ago, I was like, given this market, if you're the Boston Bruins, you've got to look at guys like Coyle, Zacha, Geeky, Carlo, and think that they could all get a first-round pick. And there were people who were like, you're out of your mind. And I've never been more proven right.
Yep.
Like, you get Casey Middlestat, Zellers, and a second-round pick for Coyle. Like,
yep.
Yeah, it was a great return. And again, I just think Charlie Coyle, first game as an Av, gets a point. Like, he is a good fit for that team. I think Bednar's very good for him. And he is just like the hard-working dude that's going to sit in a locker room with Nate and be totally fine.
Dude, down the middle now, the Colorado Avalanche are Nathan MacKinnon, Brock Nelson, Charlie Coyle, Jack Drury.
Yeah.
That is a fucking clown show, dude.
It's the best in the league.
I cannot believe that.
Yep.
Lehkonen, McKinnon, Natchez, Druin, Nelson, Nichushkin, top 6.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Charlie Coyle, Ross Colton on your third line. That forward group is incredibly talented and incredibly fast.
Yes.
So I'm like, it was a joy to watch those two go head to head, battling.
Dude, not to mention, you want to talk about vibes? They also brought back EJ. And I really actually think that's monstrous.
Agreed.
Like, putting EJ in that locker room, a guy who for a time had more tenure there than Nate did. Like, that's a guy that Nate respects so much, a good guy to level him out. I think that is such a good vibes play to bring him back.
God, dude. Their power plays, bro. PP1, Nichushkin, Brock Nelson, Natchez, McKinnon, Makar. Crazy, dude. So let's just roll that right into the Central.
Yeah.
Because I had felt like when this was all said and done, I was like, the Avs are the best team in the league. But I've been banging the drum that Dallas was the deepest team of all time, and they moved Stankoven for fucking Rantanen.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Jesus Christ, re-sign Wyatt. Like, everything is looking so great in Dallas.
That Wyatt bridge,
awesome.
It's one of the better contracts you'll ever see for both the team and the player.
So, as you alluded to,
we keep talking about the cap. I just sorry to talk on that for another second. We keep talking about the cap going up to get Wyatt Johnston at that cap hit for the next 4 years, I believe it was, and get him paid. And then I think he's going to be something like 27 when that's up.
Yeah. Come on.
It's such a good deal for both people.
Yep.
Everyone wins.
Yeah, just to be fair, Dallas is top 6 because I just read Colorado's. Jason Robertson, Wyatt Johnson, Mikko Rantanen, Jamie Benn, Matt Duchene, and Granny. And that's actually I think Rupe's hurt, right? Like, I didn't even read Rupe.
Yeah,
so like
and Sakes.
Yeah. Like, imagine if you get both of them back. Holy fuck. Okay, so
that's a stacked
ridiculous, Dan. So
also,
right
Granny
now,
is so good.
Right now, the Jets have played 65 games and have 92 points. Okay, which is tied for the most in the league. So it's not like
they're not running away with it.
Yep. Dallas, 64 games, 86 points. So with a game in hand, if they win that, it'd be 88. So they're only 4 points back. So the Jets are catchable. Avalanche, 64 games, 78 points. And the Wild, 64 games, 76 points. So 2 points back. As you said, the current format right now would be Dallas, Colorado first round. Not only is Mikko Rantanen's mental health riding on that,
dude,
but also Lord Stanley's Cup is riding on that first round series, Dan.
I need those two teams to not play so badly.
Okay,
because
so
a Colorado,
it's a
Dallas
nightmare, dude.
final, which I don't think could happen ever.
No, it couldn't.
Which
Because
is a
they're
bummer.
both West.
Yeah,
but it could
Or,
and
sorry,
should be the
I meant Western Conference final. Dude.
Oh,
I'm
no,
not
it
a
could
fucking
happen.
moron.
Yeah.
But with the way that shakes out, would the brackets line up?
You'd have
like
to
that?
have one be in the wild card and get kicked to the Pacific. Which
so
happens.
like if one is 1 and one is 3, or 1 and 2, they could never meet.
Yes.
Shit. So that's going to be
building rivalries.
That's going to be a second round matchup at best.
No, and if the Wild pass Colorado,
But I don't think there's any world where one of those teams falls down to wild card after everything that they both just did.
But the Wild are 2 points back. It's not the craziest thing that's ever
Yeah.
happened. So if there are two very specific marching orders here, if you are the Minnesota Wild, you need to stay in the wild card. Like you do, because if you pop up to 3, you play one of them in the first round, and you're like, get me out of here.
Yeah.
And not that the Jets or it would be Vegas on the other end is a fucking cakewalk. Like they're the 1 seeds. It sucks.
Yeah.
But just Dallas and Colorado are avoid at all costs, dude. Get out of here.
It's for real.
So if you're the Wild, you are like, I don't want to be the wild card. But if you are Colorado, I kind of would rather be the wild card, where I'm like, just get me away from Dallas in the fucking first round. That blows. Because Colorado rinsed the Jets last year. So I'm like, just play them again. To beat them in 5.
Yeah.
Okay. And then if you are the Jets, Dan, under no circumstances can you get caught. Because right now, you'd only have to they play themselves, duke it out, and you play one of them in the second round.
And it's like they didn't do much at the deadline. They did some depth adds, and I said, to me, it looked like they were like this. We like our team, dude. We're gonna bring some depth around us, and they did that. But you immediately lose your first game after, and you're like, oh god.
Because if you get caught, let's say Dallas passes you, you go to 2. You play Colorado first, and then Dallas second,
and then you were you're out in the first round, dude.
Dude, this is a disaster, dude.
After what has felt like a dream year for Winnipeg, you now
cannot.
You are staring down a hellscape right now.
Yep.
It's fucking crazy.
So the Jets need to be all gas here.
Yeah.
Win every fucking point matters. And dude, not that we need to beat the playoff format to death, but just what do you do if you're Dallas and Colorado? Because you're careening towards this matchup, and it's I would say very likely.
Yeah.
So do you just go, okay, fucking let's go, ramp it up?
What else do you do? What else could you do?
Yeah,
like
there's if I'm Dallas, I'm thinking like, catch the Jets. Not that you want to be scared of a team, and you would never publicly admit that.
Dude,
obviously.
if you're Dallas right now, I think objective numero uno is catch the Jets and win this division.
Yeah.
Truly, I do. I think it has to be, because ultimately, it sounds fucking crazy with how good the Jets have been. But if you were Colorado or Dallas, you would rather play Winnipeg than each other.
Absolutely.
So that is no questions asked. Like Winnipeg, you need to hold on. Dallas, you need to catch them. Like that is definitely what they're looking for. Moving on from the Central Division. Let's get into the big topic that will then lead to the crescendo of the Boston Bruins. Full-on fire sale happened. We talked a lot about it. We have a lot to say about it.
Read them all first.
First trade we saw was Trent Frederick.
Well, Coyle. Oh, you're doing linear order?
Yep.
Yep.
Then eventually we saw Coyle. We saw Carlo. We saw Marchand. Going down the list. Trade 1, Boston Bruins trade Trent Frederick with 50% salary retained to the New Jersey Devils in exchange for an unsigned draft choice, Peter Hauser. The New Jersey Devils trade Trent Frederick with that 50% salary retained to Edmonton in exchange for unsigned draft choice, Shane LeChance. So, ultimately, Boston got a second-round pick for Trent Frederick. Next, Boston trades Max Jones, an unsigned draft choice Peter Hauser, to Edmonton in exchange for Max Wanner, St. Louis' second-round pick in 2025, owned by Edmonton, and Edmonton's own fourth-round selection in 2026. Next up, I'm going to go in order of importance here.
Okay.
Boston trades Justin Brazeau. Brazeau from the Bruins in exchange to the Minnesota Wild for Merritt Kuznetsov.
Great job.
Kuznetsov, yeah.
Yeah.
Merritt Kuznetsov and the return of the
Our
king,
old friend.
Jacob Lauko, and a 6th-round selection in the 2026 NHL draft. So, the wheels start moving. Then we saw the Charlie Coyle, which Chris announced.
Yep.
Then the first dagger.
Oh,
As far as like Bruins fans, how you feel? Like you lose Freddie, you're like, fuck. But he goes to Edmonton, you're like, all right, good. Like I like that fit for Edmonton. Hopefully he wins a cup there. That'd be great to see for Freddie. But you do look at it like Trent Frederick was a first-round pick, and then things haven't panned out, and we get a hopefully mid to high second-round pick back from him. Kind of hurts, but ultimately good trade. Lose Brazeau, who was a nice surprise this year.
He was.
Now, Brandon.
But I'll even say the Coyle one. Just like
Coyle hurt.
I was like, fuck, and I love him. Great guy.
Coyle hurt, but getting Casey Middlestat back with term
was nice. And just like you said about Freddie, I'm like, go win a cup in Colorado, baby. That's fucking awesome.
100%.
Yeah.
Also, like Zeller's good back, second round pick good, like that. Brandon Carlo traded to the Toronto Maple Leafs for Fraser Minton and a conditional first round pick in the 2026 NHL draft and a fourth round pick in the 2025 draft. Brandon Carlo to the Maple Leafs hurts.
Oh, dude, that's crazy.
But fantastic return. Fraser Minton is a great player. I think people have a lot of faith in him becoming a good second-line center in the NHL. And then we hear a lot about Brad Marchand. There were rumors of several teams, I think LA being the biggest one. We can confirm there was a trade on the table to LA that both teams had agreed to. Brad did not want to move his family that far away, which I totally understand. Ultimately, Brad Marchand said that he wanted the Florida Panthers if he were to get traded, which he made very fucking clear that he did not want.
Yep.
He's traded to the Florida Panthers with 50% salary retained for a conditional second-round pick. It becomes a first if Marchand appears in 50% of the Panthers' playoff games in the first 2 rounds. Let's first talk about Boston.
Yep.
And then let's talk about Marchand.
Okay.
Boston right now, I think if you look at the standings, are 4 points out of a wild card spot.
They are 3 points out, but
lots of games in hand.
Played many more games than all the teams in.
Lots of games in hand.
And like 4 teams ahead of them. You'd have to jump 4 teams, which is a lot.
This is what's interesting about the Bruins. Again, games in hand only matter if you win. So currently they are 3 points out of a wild card spot. The players on this Boston Bruins team obviously are fighting to win. You think David Pastrnak and Jeremy Swayman want to miss playoffs? Do you think Charlie McAvoy doesn't want to get back in this lineup? You don't think they want to make the playoffs? Absolutely they do. So when you're the guys on this team and you look at this fire sale, including the betrayal of your captain and lifelong Bruin, Brad Marchand, you cannot be happy right now. That's all I'm going to say is these players cannot be happy. But at the same time, look at the lineup. Morgan Geekie, Pavel Zacha, David Pastrnak, Cole Koepke, Casey Middlestat, and Vinny Lettierier. Kuznetsov. I just keep Kuznetsov.
Koozie.
Merritt Kuznetsov, Elias Lindholm, and Jacob Lauko, Johnny Beecher, Mark Kastelik, and Patrick Brown. That is not the lineup that any Bruins fan thought that they were going into the season with.
That's who I wanted Lindholm to have on his wings, on the third line. That's what I always dreamed of.
This team looks crazy when you think about the start of the year. Then don't forget, the Bruins also traded for Yoki Haru. Let's not completely ignore that. But right now, the D first lining is Zadorov and Yoki Haru, with Lohrei and Andrew Peeke, and then Witherspoon and Ian Mitchell. Yep. Obviously, Hampus and Charlie Mack are out of the lineup. What my point is 2 years removed from winning the President's Trophy, you obviously have the devastating loss to Florida. Then last year you beat Toronto, you lose to Florida again. This is not the roster that you thought you'd have.
Yeah.
The fact that David Pastrnak, Jeremy Swayman, and Charlie McAvoy are the only 3 players on this team who have been there for 5 years or longer is insane.
Correct.
And at the end of the day, dude, Don Sweeney said in his press conference, if I had done my job correctly, I wouldn't be making trades like this.
Yeah.
That is correct. And there are a lot of people who are like, good on him for saying that. And I say, nope. Not good on him. That's correct. I'm shocked he has a job. I'm shocked he has a job, and I'm shocked that he is in a position where the Jacobs family is publicly backing him and also letting him do what he just did which to me means he ain't going anywhere.
Okay, yep.
I do not think you let your GM gut the team like you have just done, trade away Brad Marchand in the fashion that you did it if you're about to fire this guy.
Agree completely. Ignore the Brad of it for a second. We wanted this, though. Like,
I didn't want, yes.
Yeah.
I didn't want it, but I was
hate
like,
that we're here, but
this, dude, the Bruins have 0 prospects. They have 0 picks.
I wish they traded more people.
Like, you got to do something
Yep.
here. And yeah, now it looks like Morgan Geekie is going to get an extension.
Here comes the overpay for
like
Morgan
we
Geekie.
discussed, like, is it going to be an overpay?
Yeah.
Even with the cap going up, is that about to be an overpay? We'll see. So, yeah.
Okay, so I'm with you. Let's get to Brad. I rate the Bruins deadline pretty good, honestly, outside of the Brad thing, because I wanted this and whatever.
Yeah, I ultimately give the Bruins a B+
Yeah.
to an A- with the massive asterisks of you are scumbags.
Okay, so dude, here's what I want to get into. We got the actually, I got a million text messages, so I'm obviously not going to read all of them, but just this one made me laugh. My good buddy Nez, who you know, obviously, Dan, said, and he's a Panthers fan, admittedly, but he goes, dude, the Panthers have straight up murdered Boston and made them their Horcrux. Yeah. And I was like, that was actually a really funny way to say, text. Like, I have your soul is now in my possession now.
I really hate the Panthers killed the Boston Bruins takes. Like, you didn't.
Correct.
And
the bees killed the bees.
Yeah. But it does look that way.
Yep.
And I'll give
so the Marchand trade, the Marchand trade happened. We're on the road. Like you said, there's a million things going on. And we are hearing about the LA thing, and then something switches and we hear Florida.
Yeah. And
I think I even said to you, I looked right at you and I said, no fucking way. And not that I hate the Panthers. I actually don't hate the Panthers at all. And if Marchand was going to leave, I certainly want him to go somewhere great.
Yeah.
That he can make some money and win a cup, maybe. That'd be awesome. And there's something hilarious. You know, I can get over the fact that it's like, oh, they knocked us out. But there's just something hilarious about him and Bennett, and like, what a good ad for
I don't know
team.
if you saw, but Bennett was asked in an interview, I think it was after practice today. They were like, how has it been? And he was like, the second we added Brad to the team group chat, the first thing he said was chirping everybody.
Yeah.
And he was like, it's amazing. Like, it's perfect. It's exactly what you'd want from him. It's how you break the ice. And it's immediately how we were all like, well, he's going to fit in like a fucking glove.
Did you see his comment on the Carlo trade?
Yeah. Pigeon.
Yeah. Okay, so anyway, the initial thing we heard was it was a second-round pick. And I was like, come on, dude. Are you fucking kidding me? It becomes a first if Marchand appears in 50% of the Panthers playoff games in the first 2 rounds. So they have to make it 2 rounds, and he has to play. Yeah. Presumably he will.
Which is terrifying, given that is something that both teams agreed to. It makes you feel like, Jesus, that
he could be hurt.
He could be very hurt.
He could be hurt.
Which is scary.
So I'm hoping that it turns into a first round for the B's sake. But once the initial dust settled, I was like, okay, I'm rooting for him. And it feels like they had probably had talks of, would you be down to get traded somewhere? And it probably went very amicably, and he's out. And I'm happy. Dude, then we get to this weekend today.
As far as the timeline, like, we knew that was not the case.
Yep.
Like, we knew as it was going down that this was not something that he was happy about.
And you see Brad's interviews in his full Panther gear, talking about how much he appreciates the Boston organization and wishes something could come out. I actually couldn't believe how complimentary he was of.
Dude, this is what I'm saying. Like, people, even people who hated him, the last few years, like, you're seeing what an incredible person he is, what a consummate pro he is. You have any idea how easily he could have sewered everybody? And yeah, he's just the best about it.
And dude, his interview today, legitimately, with him choking up, I got emotional just watching the interview. Tom Brady's probably my favorite athlete of all time. He played for the Bucks, and I was super bummed when he was off the Patriots, but I was like, okay, well, I'll just go root for Tom over here. I wasn't like near tears. And something about Brad just processing this in Panthers gear. And I'm not even chirping the Panthers, I just mean in any other gear.
Yeah.
Just processing the how proud he was to have done what he did in that black and gold sweater. I was like, this is not happening. I cannot believe this.
Yeah.
And then to compound that with the reports that were like, listen, Brad and the team had a face-to-face discussion. They were offering 2, Brad wanted 3. The team got to 3 and there was still a money gap. And then Brad said, let's have a face-to-face fucking meeting and get this done. I'm willing to compromise. And the Bees just go, no. And now you're gone, Florida. Is appalling to me.
It's disgusting.
It's disgusting, yeah.
Because frankly, here's how I feel. You are one of the greatest Bruins of all time. You can still play. The fact that Boston was willing to go 3 years means that they feel he can still play too. And now the player and the team doctors are the only people who really know what's going on with the guy's body. But the fact that 3 years was agreed upon, I think, is a phenomenal sign for his belief in his ability to play as well as the team's. I think the fact that he wants to stay, and we have reports of a 3-year, $6.3 million offer from the Bruins, that Brad was like, that's far off the mark. Elliot Friedman reported there was a big gap. I think that has a lot to do with the cap going up. I'm so sorry for how often we say that, but like Patrice Bergeron came back 1 year, $3 million.
Yeah.
The fact that about to be 37 tomorrow, Brad Marchand is like, I want more than I'm currently making. It says a lot about his belief in himself and a lot about where the cap is going to be. But when you look at it and you look at the Bruins cap right now, if he's like, if we talk about that big gap, like what could that possibly be? Like, was he asking for 7.5? Like, even if he is, I'm like, it's like a bit over $1 million than what your cap is currently. Like for him, yeah, I get it. The fact that he asked for a sit-down face-to-face meeting with Don Sweeney and Cam Neely, got it, and just said, I'm willing to budge. I'm asking you to be willing to budge too. And they said, fuck you. That is insane to me.
Dude, it stings.
And ultimately, Chris, everyone goes, well, if you weren't going to give him that contract, you got to get something for him. When it's a conditional second-round pick, that at best is going to be, if he plays 50% into 2 rounds, like it's going to be,
it's a bad pick.
Yeah, what, 26?
Yeah.
Something like that. Take it. I don't want it.
Yeah.
I don't want it. Like, I'd rather you go not fucking trade him like this and just get to summer. And if you can't come to terms in the summer, we're in the same spot. And frankly, to me, it looks less bad.
Him walking for free?
Yes.
I kind of
It definitely looks less bad. It's like, and I think the Bruins front office point is like, well, if we were going to get to that point, then give me a 26 overall pick.
Yeah.
If it gets that, or give me a, second round pick, whatever. But ultimately, I'm like, you couldn't get something done, dude. This guy so desperately is like, I don't want to go. So during the trade deadline, trade deadline day, he's like, he was not with the team. He's in Boston. He's like, give me a sit down meeting. Yeah. And they're even after that, they're like, nope, can't get anything done.
Here's my two closing thoughts on this. He has made per career earnings $72 million.
Yeah.
Like we just said, he probably got 36 of that,
yeah.
35 million.
Yeah.
That is a lot of money.
Sure.
That's plenty of money. So to be fair to the front office, I'm kind of surprised that he needed so much more than 6.3 that there was a quote unquote big gap. And he even, like, theoretically there was some compromise. Point being, he could have come back for 3 years at $3 million and been like, I have plenty of money.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of surprised, even with the cap going up, that he wasn't down to do that.
Yeah.
Or taking the 6.
Yeah.
Like, that feels like plenty to me. To be fair to the front office, it's not like the front office offered 1 and Brad's like, are you fucking kidding me? They offered him $6 million. So I just want that out there. But on the other side, and where I feel it much more strongly, this is the type of guy that, as a fan, I'm speaking as a fan here, you just pay and get rinsed on this contract in 3 years because whatever. Like, if you go, Brad, here's 3 at 7.5. And in 2 years from now, we're like, fuck, I wish Brad was off the books, but whatever. This is the type of player you just do that for. And I know we kind of just didn't say that last week, and I know that's bad business and blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, dude, You can't do that to him.
I agree.
You have to just pay him and shut the fuck up.
I look at guys like Bergeron and Tuukka Rask doing those streams, like guys who just played their whole career, just retired bees. Like, just Brad belongs there.
Yep.
He belongs there. And I'm getting too emotional. My whole thing is telling fans to be...
I know, same. Yep.
To be less emotional. And ultimately, do we think that Florida is going to make it 2 rounds and hopefully Brad plays 50? I mean, if he's healthy, he's going to play fucking every single game. Yeah, I do think that's going to happen. And, if this pick turns into something between 24 and 32, and you go into next year's draft and you have 2 first-round draft picks, like, that's something that you're like, well, actually... Oh, it's not even...
I think it's 26,
It's 26,
right?
yeah. It's not even next year. So, either way.
Yeah.
You get that first-round draft pick, and you're like, oh, yeah, that's nice. It's nice that we have that. And that's why this is a business, and that's why it's, you're happy that you have that down the road. But I always think about your culture. It's like, what do players say? And... I'm not going to lie. I don't think I'm being dramatic here, but when guys know that it's a business. Everyone knows that. They always say this. Brad says it in his press conference. Everyone who gets traded like this, they say it. I know it's a business. I know it's a business. But I just think if you're a free agent that's meeting with the Boston's front office this coming summer, next summer, if you're a current player on the team negotiating a new contract, you think about this shit. This is stuff you have in your head when they're going, oh, yeah, we're a family, blah, 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 blah. Who is it that said that? Ladder, right? He was like, everyone says, oh, we're a family. You're not a fucking family.
Yeah.
It's a company.
Yep.
And when they're giving you their pitch, you're out of your mind if you don't think in the back of these guys' heads is, well, they fucking took Marchand out behind the shed and put a bullet in his skull.
Yep. After he specifically asked you not to.
Asked for a face-to-face meeting, and the preface of the meeting was, I'm willing to budge.
Yep.
I'm asking you to as well. This is stuff that players think about, players see, and it's crazy. There's a reason we're talking about it this long. There's a reason every media outlet is talking about this. Elliot Friedman goes on TV to discuss how wild this is.
Yep.
This looks like fucking shit.
Especially, Dan, I think I read, I think it might have been Marina actually on Barstool, said, it just was a good point. He has taken so many team-friendly deals throughout his career, too.
It's the only thing he's done.
So it's not like, at this point, if you go, well, we're fucking dragging you over whatever the gap was. I'm like, well, certainly you owe him that from the fucking 14 years previous, dude, where you weren't paying him that.
He and Berg were the same. Like, so they're just both guys who fucking battled. Both second-round picks, too, I think, right? And
I'll be right.
Both wore the C. Both took team-friendly deals. Both kept the culture alive. Like the culture that was built by Zdeno Chara and Mark Savard that's passed down to Patrice Bergeron. It was also passed down to Brad Marchand. The reason for the current culture of the Boston Bruins that people like to talk about so highly all the time is because guys like Brad exist there. And
was third rounder.
Sorry?
Third rounder.
Marshy was a third rounder, yeah. It's tough. I think it is such a tough look, and yeah, I've gone on Twitter, a bunch of people talking about the dream, right? They were talking about that with Rantanen too. The dream of, oh yeah, he goes to Florida, maybe he wins a cup, and then he re-signs with Boston. There is a world where that could still happen, but after hearing all this information and seeing that press conference, do you think that's going to happen?
It's a dagger, dude. It's a dagger that I just didn't see coming. We had discussed his trade, and I think we both said I don't expect he gets traded, but I was very aware it was a possibility. And I'm not even mad about the team. I've said this 5 times. I don't care that it's Florida. I've seen so many of my friends get so mad about that. It's not about that he went to Florida to me. In fact, like if that's where he wanted to go, then fucking good.
I don't give a fuck, man. And again, I am unemotional. Yeah. I am not a Bruins fan anymore. I'm a fan of human beings. Yeah. Obviously, I love the Bruins, but like, I don't give a fuck where he went. I wouldn't have cared if he went to Toronto. Yeah. Truly. Yep. Like, I would have been like, yeah, you grew up a Toronto fan. Hope he wins a fucking cup. I am such a Florida Panthers fan, even more than I already was now, because I'm like, I want to watch Brad Marchand lift that trophy. It'll be the most emotional thing ever.
So yeah, it was just such a dagger to hear how he felt. What did we say? Whatever Brad wants.
Whatever Brad wants, and you did
what he wanted.
He very politely asked for one thing, and you spit in his open mouth, and he didn't ask for it.
Okay,
brutal.
A few other teams I just wanted to hit on your quick thoughts.
Please.
Toronto.
Good
got
moves.
Lawton, got Carlo.
I
Did enough?
I look at the East, and I think certain teams got stronger. I think, again, if Brad plays, I think Florida definitely got stronger. I think Tampa definitely got stronger. I think Washington was already stronger. I think Toronto just got stronger, but they paid a lot for it.
Mm-hmm.
But they need, in my opinion, they needed a center. They got Lawton. And I think Lottie is going to be good with Berube.
Me too.
I think that's going to be a good combination. And I just think, I think Carlo is exactly what they have not had in the past.
Which
and
they've been tried. Yeah,
and
exactly.
I think they've tried with too old of guys, like Tanev even being one of them. Like they went out and paid a hefty price for Tanev, and look at that. He gets hurt a ton again because the guy's an absolute machine who's 34 years old, I think, and has been putting his body on the line for 20 years.
Yeah.
So to me, Carlo is just like, a lot of people talk about his concussion history, but he's been pretty rock solid 2 to 3 years now.
Yep.
And the guy just, you don't score when he's on the ice, dude. I think he's a career plus 129. Like you do not score when Brandon Carlo's on the ice, and Toronto needs that. I like their moves. They paid for it, but that was the market. So Toronto gets 2 thumbs up for me.
Okay, great. Detroit.
Tough one on Detroit because similar to LA, or you have them written down. What I'll say about Detroit is Detroit cannot win the cup this year. Steve knows that. Making the playoffs is in their sights, and after last year, I think they have to. And by have to, I mean it's not like anything bad's going to happen, but if you miss the playoffs again, you have failed this season. They know that. The players know that. But they're in one of these situations where I'm sure the price for guys they were after that would mean something was going to be too much. It was going to cost them prospects who are currently contributing to the team. And then also, they're in a window where I'm like, your first round pick next year is valuable.
Yeah.
You need to keep building this team. So I'm glad that they didn't panic and overpay.
And I don't know that the fans agree with you, but I think you're right.
I know
because it's 2 years in a row where everybody's like, "Come on, dude!"
Yeah.
And
Well,
especially if you miss.
Yeah, and like Sandin Pellikka is a guy I've talked about a million times where I'm like, that is such a fucking good pick. And I'm like, if you traded a first round pick last year, or let's talk about this year, like a guy like that is who you're possibly giving up to what?
Yeah.
Still maybe miss the playoffs or get in the playoffs and lose in the first round. Was that worth it?
Yeah.
Do you want to get in the playoffs and miss the first round that bad that you lose a player that's going to be so helpful to guys like Mo and Raymond and Dylan and Casper? Like, no.
Yep.
So I like what they did.
Okay. The Rangers.
The Rangers, to me, like, I think that their moves, as far as what they've gotten in return for guys like Trouba, guys like Kapokako, Lindgren, Smith, you got really nothing for Riley Smith, but like, yeah, they cleared out some space. They brought in Susie, which I thought was like a interesting move.
Yep.
I give them a decent grade. Like I'd say, like, okay, good job. I would have done much more.
Yeah.
Much more.
Kings.
Obviously tough one. I really like what they did. Similar reasons to Detroit. Here's the thing, dude. They are in a very interesting spot, especially and particularly with the situation like Kopitar and Doughty. You've got two guys who are 37 years, 35 to 37 years old, who are your two best players probably. They are similar to Detroit, in my opinion, where the players that were going to cost them stuff. There was a big rumor of Brant Clark and Quentin Byfield for Mikko Rantanen. Mm-hmm. That would have been the worst fucking trade of all time. The players that were being talked about with every single Kings trade that was brought up, that would have brought in a meaningful goal-scoring piece. We heard Clarkey, we heard QB, we heard Spenny, we heard Morsey. Mm-hmm. Those guys are instrumental pieces to your team currently. If you trade them if you lost QB and Clarkey for Rantanen, I think you're worse.
Well, it's the Nature's Drury thing.
Exactly.
It's the same thing.
I think you're worse. So you're talking about trading players who are important and contributing pieces to the team for a new contributing piece, and I don't think it's one of those things where it's like, let's go on the 1 to 100 scale. If you move a 280s for a 95 in a year where you're like, we just need a little bit more to win a cup, then I'm like, yep, that sucked, but it's worth it because you won. I don't think that's LA's situation right
Yep.
now. So I think it would have been a huge mistake to lose some of those players. And ultimately, was there a player available to them that they could have traded just a pick for? The answer is yes, and it's Brad Marchand. But it was said no.
Mm-hmm.
So they made a move.
They
They
did
made
the
an
best they
offer.
could. But I would
and
say
then they
this-
bring
go
in
on.
Kuzi, who I love. I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
for that team, and it was a great price, especially for this market. Things weren't working for Kuzi where he was, but this is a guy that we just saw have fucking 70-something points a couple of years ago. I think it's a great situation. I like him in LA. I understand fans being like, they did nothing. But ultimately, I think that they were smart. They didn't panic. And it was a very, very good opportunity for them to panic. So credit to Blakey for not panicking.
I hear you, but I will just say this. Right now, Vegas, 63 games, 82 points, first place. Edmonton, 63 games, 78 points. Very catchable, obviously. But, Vegas is in the driver's seat, and I think is better. The Kings, 62 games, 75 points. So with the game in hand, very catchable to Edmonton. And the Flames are like lurking. But, it feels like, here we go again, those are the top three. And likely you're getting a Kings-Oilers first round with home ice up for debate.
Yeah.
I don't know that this Kings team is about to beat this Oilers team again. And eventually you you butt up against this wall of, we need to make a move that gets us past Edmonton, period. Otherwise, we're going to lose in the first round over and over and over. And last year, they went like this. We had Ullmark, though. It's funny, there's Bruins twice, but we had Ullmark, and it just didn't work out. But we had a deal done, basically. He said no. And that would have got us over the Edmonton hump. I agree, it would have. But it didn't work out because he said no. This year, we had Marchand, and that would get us over the Edmonton hump. But it didn't work out because he said no. And I'm like, I just can't keep hearing. We did it, though. We still get a good grade on the trade line because we had it on the table that would have helped us beat our boogeyman. And I'm like, well, it did. He's not on your team, and you're going to lose to your boogeyman again. Yeah. So congratulations for getting a deal almost done, but it's not done, and now you're out in the first round.
Yeah.
That's how it feels right now.
And I totally hear that. Did you think, though, that there was something... did you think that there's something on the table that would have gotten them over Edmonton, though?
Marchand.
Really?
Yeah, I think if he's healthy, I think Brad Marchand is a agitator and a goal scorer and a power play weapon that, and I don't know. I'm not saying like the 100% they win. I'm just saying if they added Marchand, I go, okay, I might be picking the Kings now in that, right? And I promise you right now I'm picking Edmonton. And I think I can say this. I don't want Edmonton to win that series. I'll be rooting for the Kings. But if you're like, hey, dude, gun to your head, who wins the Edmonton Kings series with Edmonton getting home ice? I go Edmonton.
Yeah. That's a good point.
But if they got Brad, I might go, okay, now I think the Kings got him.
Yeah, that's a good point.
If they got Ullmark last year, I go, now I think the Kings got him.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Do it.
Good point. That was going to be my big question is like, would Marchand have been enough to get them over the hump? And I am not sure. I would like to think yes, but like,
maybe
yeah,
not.
No, but it's an interesting one. So yeah, I think you are right that they need to stop being close.
Yeah.
And like start being like, well, dude, because yeah, man, it's tough in that you can't keep losing to Edmonton with Doughty and Kopi.
Agree. Speaking of, did Edmonton do enough for you?
Yes.
Really?
Dude, again, it's one of these fucking things. It's like not everyone can throw a haymaker.
Yeah.
Not everyone can. Like we talked about Vegas, right? Like Vegas was a big one. People thought Brad was going to go to Vegas, and I was like, Vegas has no prospects, dude.
Yeah.
They have literally nothing to trade. Edmonton's not exactly in that space, but to me, Edmonton is like, I thought Wallman was a great fucking deal.
Yep.
Wallman's having an amazing season.
That was actually.
That was a great trade by San Jose too. I think that's a really, really fucking good pickup for Edmonton. And then who's they got a
Freddie.
Trent.
Yep.
That's who I was thinking of. But to me, I say yes because I'm like, I don't know, dude. Like they went to Game 7 last year, and like their team's not that different. I think losing Fogle was brutal because I don't think Arvidsson or Skinner has filled those shoes at all.
Yep.
I think Fogel's having a great year. I think those two guys are having
Fogel's been awesome.
Not great years. Ultimately, it's like they got a little bit better on D, and Connor and Leon are still going to Connor and Leon.
Yep.
I believe, however, I will say this. A lot of this has to do with how much better teams like Colorado and Dallas got. I think everyone who is picking Edmonton to win the Cup at the start of the year feel less confident than they did 6 months ago.
I would agree with you, and I would just add to that, I don't think Tampa threw a haymaker, but they made moves where I'm like, they could win now.
Definitely.
And I don't quite feel that way about Edmonton's moves. I didn't need a haymaker from them because you're right, they went to Game 7, but I just think
Definitely.
there were maybe some middle pieces that might have made me gone, watch out. Everyone's on the Colorado-Dallas train, watch out for the Oilers.
Yeah.
And I love both those people that they got as human beings. I'm like, those are fucking great dudes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know that Edmonton did. Edmonton is less in my conversation in the West now.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. Well, deadline was fucking insane. 10 years, I'd say, right? Craziest in 10 years.
Wild.
Absolutely wild. The landscape of the league feels even more open than it was before. Cannot wait to watch these last
month and a half,
18 games. Some odd
Yeah,
games, month and a half of the season. We're going to see a lot of stuff happen. Let's get into a beer league hotline to cleanse the palate.
One guy on our team isn't a beer guy. After the game, he stays to drink with us, but he drinks whiskey out of his flask. All good. But when it's his night for beer duty, he doesn't bring a rack for the boys. He makes everyone drink whiskey. He picks out a really nice whiskey, he brings real glasses, and he brings ice for those who want it on the rocks. We really appreciate him going all out, but some of us don't want to slug 3 fingers of Woodford Reserve on a Tuesday night. Is it rude to ask him to bring a few cold ones?
Yes.
Agree, dude. I thought you were gonna say for sure they have to.
Dude, let me say that one more time. Yes, it is rude,
dude.
And I say that as a hand up bitch.
Yep.
I am not the biggest beer guy. There are times where I will crack a beer in the locker room and slow sip it and dump it out in the parking lot because I'm sorry, I'm being a little health boy and I'm not trying to drink a bunch of beers during the week. I think this is such a nail gun move. It's such a classy move, too. And him being a whiskey guy, I mean, it's a little rattling. I'm like, don't drink a bunch of whiskey and drive home.
Yeah.
But if you're having one, whatever. I think that this is such a cool, unique thing. You know what I mean? Like, I love that you're like, oh, fuck, it's Rick's night. We're drinking whiskey tonight.
Yep. Yeah, good point. You can,
Yep. The email goes out. Like, it's Rick's night if you're paying attention. If you're not paying attention, that's on you. Because to me, I'm like, listen, if you don't want this that bad, the guy's bringing glasses. This is classy as shit.
Dude,
I'm actually starting to get more on the like, it is rude of you. How dare you?
Yeah.
It is rude of you. How dare you say no to this man? He's bringing glasses with ice if you'd like it. I mean, if it's such a problem for you, you bring your own beer.
I was right about to say, Dan, he doesn't cause a problem when it's your beer night. He brings his own whiskey. He doesn't say, also bring me some whiskey.
Great point.
He brings his own
Great
flask.
point.
If you want fucking 2 Coors Banquets after the game and you don't want the Woodford Reserve, take 2 Coors Banquets, stuff them in your fucking bag, and drink that when you get here. Don't ask Rick to take his whiskey somewhere else. When he's giving you a treat, how much did your 30 of BLs cost compared to the fucking handle of Woodford Reserve he bought you guys?
Dude, he
has to wash those glasses later, Dan.
Yeah.
He washes your glasses.
He sure does. He has to bring ice. He has to bring a cooler of ice specifically for in drinks. I mean, I think this man, he's a man of taste. He's a man of class. And he's just trying to share said class and taste with you.
Yep.
And he does all the work to do so. If you are not a whiskey person, bring a beer just like he brings his whiskey.
Yep.
I think it is rude. I think it's rude to ask him to bring a few cold ones.
I'm actually...
Let the boys drink whiskey, is what I say.
First of all, I'm insulted by the question. I can't even believe this question was asked because you should have gotten here on your own. Second of all, you're so right that just enjoy the night. Like, this is a really cool, fun, high-class night that you get. And how often, Dan?
Yeah.
There's probably, 15 guys on the roster, 12 guys on the roster.
It's probably once a season.
It's once a season. Have your whiskey night.
Let the boys drink whiskey. I'll say it again. I love it.
Me too.
All right, now we are going to kick the episode to our chat with our boy, TJ Oshie. We talked all about the Minnesota State Hockey Tournament. We also talk about this miracle run that the Caps are on. Could be their year. Caps year.
I love it, dude. It was incredibly cool to get to talk to him about that epic tournament going on, and then also just pick his brain on like deadline, cap season, Four Nations, like Mr. Shootout King. Getting to hear him talk about the boys wearing the USA jersey is unreal.
Yeah, just also nice having Osh back in the mix. Something to get used to because he's the best.
Taking a quick break to tell you guys about this game-changing product that we have our hands on now. It's pre-alcohol from ZBiotics. You need to get on board with this because it has revolutionized my road trips, my weekends, everything. It's a very simple process. Step 1, drink pre-alcohol. Step 2, drink responsibly. Step 3, enjoy your day tomorrow. I don't bounce back the way I used to. We're on the road a lot. We got a lot of epic NHL action coming up. We got a lot of basketball, college basketball. It's March Madness. It's March, baby. It's right around the corner. So we need to start getting ahead of this right now. So when we drink alcohol, there is a toxic byproduct created in our gut. And it's actually that byproduct that causes you to feel not the best. It's not dehydration or anything like that. It's that byproduct. Pre-alcohol attacks that byproduct. So when you drink it first, you're able to drink responsibly, and then you can wake up the next day and accomplish all the tasks I had scheduled myself to accomplish. I don't have to push anything back. It's amazing. When we're on the road, I want to hit the gym in the morning because we've been up late, eating poorly, drinking beers. And now with this pre-alcohol, bang, wake up feeling like $1 million, gym, check. All the posts we got to do, check. Interviews, check. No, Wags isn't mad at me because I'm up and at 'em. I'm on the move, okay? So I want you to go to zbiotics.com/netters to learn more and get 15% off your order at checkout, okay? And there's a 100% money-back guarantee from ZBiotics. So for whatever reason you use this product and you're not fully satisfied, you will get your money back. So go to zbiotics.com/netters, use that code netters, that's NETTERS, at checkout, and get 15% off and really start loving your mornings. All right, we are here at the Minnesota High School State Tournament.
Oh, yeah.
With our good buddy TJ Oshie, and Dan, you're the only one who didn't wear the matching t-shirt.
I feel like a goddamn asshole.
I mean, we probably got some laying around. If we
sure we could find one.
Great point.
Sure,
somebody get Jay to go get Dan a shirt right.
I need a black Warroad t-shirt immediately because I am rocking the Netters Warroad.
Yes, right,
So
exactly.
that's
Yeah,
clutch.
Netters Warroad is clutch.
Yeah.
So, Osh, this is obviously cool for you to be here. Before we even get into your 3 years here, you played your freshman year at Stanwood High, right? And then you moved here with your dad. And we talked a little bit when you came on the pod, but just talk about that move in general and what that was to you as such a young kid.
Yeah, so we touched on it, but Stanwood High School, it's kind of a little bit of a dairy farm / hick town kind of thing. They're big into football, basketball. I believe I was the only kid in the whole school. I think it's like 1,200 kids in high school that played hockey. Probably one of the only ones that even knew how to skate.
Yeah.
Which is so weird.
Yeah, I know.
To think
yeah.
In this state, you're like, how does that happen?
Yeah.
But it does.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It happened, and it was miserable. And so just family members had been telling me to come out to Warroad for a long time, not because I was some great player or anything, but they were just like, oh, you like hockey, you should come here.
Free
if you
ice.
like hockey, it's free. And we just never wanted to move away from family, and my dad ended up letting me try it out, go to camp in the summer. I think it was one day. It took me one day to tell my dad, and I was like, these guys are amazing.
Yep.
They brought me in right away. So the move was, it's like if a kid lives, I don't know, in a dungeon and he moves to Disney World. Like, that's what it was like for me.
Ricochet at Stanwood. Yeah. Ricochet at Stanwood.
Well, if it wasn't for Stanwood, I probably would have never moved.
Good point.
So
Good
if it wasn't
point.
for the basketball coach telling me that I had to choose between basketball and hockey, I probably would have never chose hockey full time.
How was the jumper, though, honestly?
The jumper's okay. I'm more of like a ball handler.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Ball handler,
Point guard.
disher.
Yeah.
Point guard.
Yeah, point guard guy.
Yeah.
That's what I say too. It's just a sneaky way of saying I can't shoot for shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm more of a D guy.
Yeah.
I'll lock you down on D for sure.
Get a rebound.
No, the basketball game is. I wish it was better.
Yeah.
I'm coaching my daughter's 5th grade house team.
No way.
Okay.
And so, I think the very first time I showed them how to do a layup, I missed, and so that was a bad start for my
fired. Yeah.
for my head coaching career. But I'd say I'd say this. We're getting a little off topic, but I'd say that coaching this 5th grade girls basketball team is probably the most fun I've had since the Stanley Cup celebration.
Really?
That is
Not
awesome.
That's awesome.
Literally not even. I don't think anything comes close
That is so
to how
cool.
much fun I've had coaching this team.
Yeah.
Is it
So,
just like a riot watching them play, or like what is so fun about it?
I
Other
think-
than the
I
awesome
think,
element of, like coaching your kids.
Yeah, coaching my kids is a super big one because I've never been able to do that.
Of course, yeah.
But I think it's I don't know. Like maybe it's from watching my dad coach.
Yeah,
me
that's
and
awesome.
Big one.
I think like seeing like actually like teaching someone something, especially like girls are sweet, right?
Yeah.
So teaching a little girl something, have her work hard at it, and then actually like do it in a game, is
Yeah.
like I don't know. It's just so incredibly like rewarding.
I get that.
Like-
I imagine that first basket that goes in, and you see
Oh.
how happy they are. You're like, hell yes,
Dude,
this is amazing.
And, I mean, forced to be reckoned with in playoffs right now. Like we
I was about to ask.
came in as an 8 seed, and we're just marching.
Just get in, baby.
March Madness,
They're a
bro.
wagon. This is unbelievable.
And
this is the actual March Madness.
yeah. But no, it's great. We actually have one girl that hasn't made that many shots this year. She's worked really hard, like literally the last 2 weeks. I can
Yeah.
like you can tell, right?
Yeah.
She hit a shot at the buzzer to end the 3rd quarter. And we were playing against the number 2 seed. And she literally, everyone went nuts. I sprinted onto the court and like went to like hug her.
Yeah.
And she just put her hands on her head like, I can't believe I did that.
Yeah.
And I mean, even her dad's reached out twice. He's like, dude,
Really?
this is like, that was like one of the specialist moments for her. And like, I think that's why it's so special
yeah,
and so much
For
fun.
sure. I'm getting fired
I was
up.
gonna say I gotta
Sorry.
go to a game, dude.
Yo, yeah, hey. We're
might have
playing on
to.
Sunday,
What round
Sunday at
what
11.
round are we in? What round are we
Churchill
in?
Road. So we ended up losing to the number 1 squad, 13-14.
Okay,
Defensive battle.
Yeah.
Slug
Defensive battle.
Yeah.
And that knocked us out of getting to the championship game.
Okay,
but
yeah.
we beat everyone else all the way
It's
up.
amazing,
So
dude.
And
What a
that,
run.
I mean, losing to the
We
number
got-
1
we
seed,
got-
I don't feel bad about that
we,
at all.
we got the consolation championship on Sunday.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a true Cinderella story. Dude.
It's great.
Fuck
Yeah.
March Madness,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
Like this is the basketball we
Yeah,
came for.
absolutely.
I'm already trying to be like, maybe I just keep these girls training throughout the summer.
Beat the wheels off everyone next year.
At evaluations, I tell them to like just dog it, like only
Yeah,
use your
yeah.
left hand or something.
yeah.
And then I draft them all back, and we.
So funny.
100%.
That's
I don't know.
amazing.
Oh my god.
But-
I don't even want to get into hockey.
So yeah, sorry. I went on a tangent.
Yep.
As you can tell, I'm super proud of my girls.
Yeah.
As
So,
you should be.
yeah.
I mean, that was a good tangent to go on.
Yeah.
If we have to get back into this, first question I have for you is: obviously, you come here and play during the regular season when you're playing for the Caps, but does it feel nostalgic coming back here when you're hearing, like, we can hear the band right now? Like, do you walk in here like, hell yeah? Like, do you feel those moments? Of,
Yeah. So I stepped in the door upstairs, and instantly smelt the cinnamon mini donuts.
Yeah.
dude.
And it's like a smell that's just like when you walk in, you're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like I'm
So
back.
cool.
And I mean the definitely the band that makes you, that's like
Yep.
state tournament stuff. You know,
Hell yeah.
bands like competing against each other. It's,
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's amazing. But yeah, there's a special feeling to this building when I come here, and it's been that way ever since back in 2003. And it's like that every single time I play the Wild.
Yeah.
Like every time I come in here, I don't think of like playoffs in St. Louis against the Wild. I don't think about like I had a couple like an overtime winner here
Yeah.
one time, which was one of my favorite shots. But I think about like high school in the state tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is my first chance I've been back since we won it in 2005, because I've always been playing. And it's a great feeling.
Oh,
Dude,
this is
walking
your
through
first
the
time
doors.
just to the mini tournament?
This is my first time
Wow,
back.
dude, I didn't
since-
know that.
Yeah.
Dude, that's
Last
awesome.
time I was here at this tournament, I was a champion.
Holy
Wow,
shit.
Yeah.
special.
Dude, that's
well,
incredible.
you just mentioned first time was 2003.
Yeah.
As a sophomore.
As a sophomore.
And you guys won as well.
Yes.
What was that like being a sophomore, getting to the tournament? How was your regular season? Do you remember who you beat? What was that whole first experience like?
First year, it was kind of it was almost like jumping on a moving train, like for
Yeah.
me, because like
Cool description,
I didn't
yeah.
grow up in World, so I didn't know what everything was all about. I had been to the state tournament. I think we came out here in '96 when I was a kid, but don't really remember. It was either '96 or '94. I don't really remember much about it.
Yeah.
I would have been 8 or 10 at the time.
Yeah.
And it was like I don't know. There was just something about that Warroad team. Our one of our rivals, Thief River Falls, and I don't know if this is like actually true, but our guys said that like they're like supposed to be one of the best high school teams like in the nation.
Yeah. Okay.
And so we were like, oh shoot, like they're in our section, and we ended up just having like a mean, like pretty offensive team, but like definitely very mean team that year.
Yeah.
And we just bullied people into like beating them by double digits.
Oh, really?
A lot of times, not in the state tournament. And in the state tournament, I don't remember, but I think every goal I scored was on my backhand.
No way.
Which is weird. I ended up making all tournament team, but it was like, it literally was, there's.
That's such a flex in high school, too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
I'm saying,
don't
like,
know.
that's amazing.
He had more backhand sophomore year.
My
or
dad
because of
just
the NHL.
always said that, and I was like, I don't know. Yeah, I guess it was. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just when
Incredible.
I got to the net. But it was almost so surreal and almost so crazy that I literally didn't have time to like think about it. I didn't have time to be nervous. I was more nervous my junior year coming in as like the number one team and defending champions.
What seed were you guys that sophomore year?
I'm not sure. I want to say we were pretty high.
Oh, you were high. Okay,
I think we were pretty high. So we didn't have many losses. I think my whole high school career we were 85-5-3. And so there wasn't a lot of losses.
Those are tough nights, honestly. Those
I feel
8 nights.
you remember the losses more than the wins at that point. Like, Jesus, there's so few.
But it was crazy. And honestly, when we won the state championship that year, I was like, this is as good as
peak. We did it.
This is my peak. Yeah. Yep. This is as high as I'm going to get, and I'm fine with that because this is amazing.
This was the dream, dude.
Yeah.
This is the dream.
Yeah.
It's cool to hear you say that it was hard to even be nervous because we'll talk to guys that won the cup as a rookie, and they kind of say a similar thing where they're like, I don't know, I was just like my first year and we won, and that was it. So it's odd. Yeah. But going into your junior year, you just said, coming back defending champs, you have a monster year junior year, 85 points in 31 games, but you guys don't win it that year. Tell us about playoffs, like what happened in playoffs that year, and was it like such a letdown, or how'd you feel?
Yeah, it was honestly like demoralized, almost like I felt like embarrassed.
Yeah.
So we lost to Orono, who we had beat the year before, in the semis maybe, and I felt really like pretty good that game, but for whatever reason our team just like couldn't get going.
Yeah.
And it was like
which was it, the final, or which round was it?
It was a quarterfinals. So we went and played the next two games at Mariucci and won like 13-3 and like 10-1 or something.
Yeah.
I don't know what the actual scores were, but I remember we scored a lot of goals.
Yeah.
Dude, tangent.
That's
I didn't know
so frustrating. Like, you lose that game, and then you go to those consolation games, you beat the wheels up, and you're like, why didn't we just fucking do this?
And we didn't even want to be in those other games,
exactly.
right? We're like,
oh, it's a nightmare.
Dude, well, I didn't know that there was a consolation bracket, which is kind of cool because it's not like your season just ends and the boys graduating, you're like, see you never, whatever. Yeah. But I didn't know it was at a different rink. And some of the fans last night were chanting Mariucci at people that were losing, and I was like, that is such a chirp.
It's a good chirp.
Yeah.
It's a good chirp.
That is such a chirp.
Yeah. Dude, I mean, that's one cool thing about the state tournament is you have like, if you're from a small town, like you have like your whole town here.
Yeah.
If you're from one of the cities, you have like your whole school here.
God, so
Plus
sick.
like, parents. And it gets a little rowdy. I mean,
sure does.
Oh, dude,
kids are ruthless.
We've been seeing it.
Kids are
ruthless. Like violent language being thrown around yesterday, and I'm looking up. It's like people walking in the 300s yelling down at people, and I'm looking at them, hearing what they're saying, and I'm like, yeah, hockey's talk. But then I'm like, that kid's 15 years old.
Yeah.
Like, this is out of control.
Anything goes when you get to the state tournament. They let it fly.
Yeah, it's 11, chippy too.
It's 11 a.m. on a Wednesday. There's a bunch of high schoolers. I'm like, don't you have school? Like, what is happening? It's insane.
Yeah. But no, it's a special. It's such a special tournament. I mean, high school hockey in general, right? Because even if you play in the USHL, you play in juniors.
Yeah.
You might all kind of go to the same school, or maybe you go to different schools, or maybe there's guys that are graduated from high school, and it's just a different vibe. These are like literally your classmates. They are. You see them all day. You're at lunch together.
Yeah.
You're just, and then you go out there and, I mean, you go to war with each other.
Yep.
Which is there's something different about that. It has a little bit more of like a college feel than maybe juniors might have.
Definitely.
Because in college you're in the dorms together. You're getting lunches together and all that.
Dude, so I want to get into your senior year, but before even that, are you when you're a good team in Minnesota high school hockey, are you thinking about this tournament all season long?
Yeah.
Like is it like after a few games you're good? Are you like, it's all about the tournament. Just got to get to the tournament. Like I can't imagine thinking about anything else when this exists.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason I went back to Warroad for my senior year was because I wanted to win the state tournament.
Yeah.
So we had Kyle Hardwick, who was heavily recruited and drafted by Lincoln. He was going to go to Lincoln, and I was getting talked to. I don't know if it was like officially like invited to Shattuck.
Oh,
and
wow.
so he was like, "Hey, are you going?" He's like, "If you go, I'm gonna go." And I like instantly I was like, "Dude, we're not going. Like we're coming back." And so we came back, and then
Can you imagine if you cucked him and he was like, "We're
I'm
back,"
gonna
and
come
then you're
back.
like, "I'm going to Shattuck."
never mind, I'm leaving. So and then even that was a crazy year because I was drafted by Sioux Falls, so he would drive from Warroad to Lincoln,
How far is
Nebraska.
that?
14,
Yeah, that's
13, I don't know.
Half a day.
It's a lot of hours.
Jesus.
And then I would play in an elite league down here. I couldn't play football because I injured my quad with compartment syndrome. And so I would drive to the Twin Cities, play like a elite league game, and then drive from here to Sioux Falls, play Sioux Falls that night.
Yeah.
After the game, or wake up early in the morning, drive back here, play elite league, and then drive back up to Warroad.
Jesus,
That's insane.
And so it was,
That was your senior year?
That was my senior year.
And so amidst this, 31 games, 100 points, undefeated. I need to know everything. Do you remember your 100th point? When you went into that season, were you like getting 100 points would be sick?
No.
Like, was that ever on your mind?
No, not really. I mean, so they had this, I don't know if they still have, there's literally a chat room. You know, back in the
Oh, dude, I lived in chat rooms.
It was called like Minhawk, maybe.
Okay.
And so like at lunch sometimes I could like go in and be like, I wonder what people are saying about me.
Yeah, he's got a burner,
And
dude.
I would look at it.
War Road fan. War Road fan 74.
I'd look at it and they'd have like everyone's stats. So you could kind of follow along. And really all I wanted to do was just lead the state in scoring.
Sure, yeah.
I didn't really care about like 100 point or whatever it was. And also you want to try to win Mr. Hockey, right? And so like if I have the most points, probably a good chance I'm going to win Mr. Hockey. Unfortunately, I didn't have great grades, so maybe that plays a little bit of a thing into it.
Who cares?
Politics.
Bullshit.
But no, that was kind of it. My 100th point was the overtime game winner pass across after the face-off. And so
That
was
was the 100th point.
Yeah.
that's the
Are
100th
you
point.
fucking
Yeah, so
kidding me?
they count playoff
Dude,
points.
I didn't.
That
That is incredible.
Yeah,
oh
so that
my
was number-
god!
that
So
was
you went into
number
that game with
100.
how many points do you have that game?
Honestly, I don't know.
Dude,
I'm
so-
really not like
Yeah,
a
point
stat
guy.
stat guy.
Yeah.
It is so funny, though. Like, I think about it. 31 games, 100 points. You guys must have just been speed bagging teams all season long.
You know what actually was a little frustrating is what was passed down from Kerry Eads, who was our coach my sophomore and junior year, and then he went to North Dakota as an assistant coach.
Yeah.
Is if we were up by like 3 or more goals, he did not play our first line.
Oh, really? Fuck.
And so there was plenty of games where, there's some small towns that just don't have a lot of people. And so they have like a couple good players, but then it drops off a little bit. And so there's games that get up in the teens. I think we beat Rosa like 15-1.
Yeah.
I don't know if I even played a second and the third period.
Yeah. You would have had
And so I'm
120.
like, I think I could have had more.
Cost you Mr. Hockey,
could have had
dude.
more.
I could
Mr. Hockey.
have
Brian Lee.
overcome the grades
Yeah.
if I had got 120.
Yeah.
Damn it, dude.
So, no, it was a cool year. It was a really like we were just on a mission.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
everyone
yeah.
was on a mission. It was like all business. We weren't cocky. It was just like next.
Yeah.
Dude, I feel like when you go undefeated, that's the vibe.
Yeah.
It's like everyone is all business.
Yeah.
Because it's like you could be the best team in the world, but if you're not locked in, you let a couple slip here and there.
Yeah.
But like that feels like a just full mission season.
And honestly, once you get like halfway through the season and you're like 15-0, you're like,
Got to do it now.
We should do this.
we're not losing.
Yep.
We actually almost lost. We scored with like,
I was gonna ask if there was a scare.
So we were one in the state single A. Moorhead was one in the state double A. We play them. The fire marshal actually had to come
Holy
and
shit.
take people out because there's too many people in their barn.
Gas, dude.
Also, that is so money being a single A team beating the number one double A team. Like, that's a flex.
Well, it ended up being a tie.
Okay,
We were
okay.
down 1-0. There was a minute to go, or like 30 seconds to go. And a guy who actually I'm friends with, we became friends after. He came with like 15 seconds left, and just literally football linebacker tackled me and just laid on top of my body in the slot, and wouldn't let me get up.
Take him
to
away.
go
Take
play.
him out of the play.
And he literally just laying on me. I'm like, get off me.
Yeah.
And the refs ended up calling, giving us both a penalty. So I go into the box, and we're down 1-0. Face off in their end. There's like 8 seconds left. Off the draw, Kyle Hardwick, the kid that could have went to Lincoln. Hardo, he's coming here later tonight.
Yeah. Let's go, Hardo.
He walks across the blue line on the face-off, snaps it home, tie game, and then we
is an all-time.
We end up tying. So I think.
So did that end in a tie?
Yeah,
ended in a tie.
Okay, yeah. Good.
Yeah, so I think we were 28-0-3. We had 3 ties that year, but that was like the scary one.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
my God,
That's electric.
And
All right,
who did you play in the final?
Yeah.
that
So
year?
what was the final?
And the final was Totino Grace. There's one kid, I don't know who it was. He like shouted me the whole game, so it was a frustrating game.
Yeah.
It was kind of a back and forth game. They played really good. We played really good, and end up the last face-off. The coach called in Aaron Marvin to take the face-off, and I was a centerman.
Yeah.
So he was like, "Hey, coach wants me to take the face-off." I was like, "No."
Yeah.
I was like, "Go over there." I was like, "Just go to the net on the draw." And so I pushed it through him, slid it over, and he had an empty net.
Dude,
and we won.
What does your coach say? Is he like, "My bad, dude"?
Well, we were all. I mean, everyone skates to the celebration to the student section to celebrate, and so.
Dude, that's so cool with the student sections in the corners. Like every time the boys score,
hearing it right now.
Everyone flies to it,
right to the corner.
In Warroad, what's awesome is the glass isn't very high, so when we win, it rotates. Warroad, Thief River Falls, East Grand Forks, and when we won in Warroad, which was my sophomore year, we ran and literally climbed over the glass.
No way.
And we went into the student section, which is
just skates
amazing.
on.
Skates on and
insane,
everything. Yeah.
Insane.
I need to take a moment to talk to you guys about something that's very important to me and something that people have said about me a lot. Not to toot my own horn, but I smell good. And I'll tell you why I smell good, because I put a lot of care and attention to detail into how good I smell, because smelling bad is the worst. Buying cologne can be a very, very stressful and intimidating thing. You don't know which one to get. Some of them are $1 billion, and you don't want to be the idiot that spends a ton of money on a cologne and then you never use it. A lot of people don't know how to use it. Here's the thing. Guy Fawkes is changing the game in cologne. They are doing it in such a cool way, such a fun experience. It's going to make it easy for you and exciting to get that new scent that you absolutely love. Guy Fawkes was started by 2 best friends, and they are right now changing the fragrance game forever. And they're doing it in a cool way by implementing people that they love. All of their colognes are named after their best friends. It is my new goal in life to get a DP scent on this roster. Now, we'll get to that later. Here's the deal. We're going to hook you up with some unbelievable Guy Fawkes products because they're putting together their starter kit. You get to try all of their best-selling fragrances, and then you get to pick which one is your favorite. It's a perfect situation. 90% of women love a guy who smells good. That's just science, folks. That has been tested in the world. That's science, and you need to be one of these guys that smells good. And here's what we're going to do. I've got all these Guy Fawkes products right here, and I got this one, Nelson. This is my game. I love this one. This one is eucalyptus, sandalwood, and cedar. And this is what you do. You get this starter kit. It's got all the flavors. Boom, boom, little spritz. Boom, right on the wrist. Rub it together. Ear, collar. I smell incredible right now. I'm attracted to myself. That's how good this is. You need to get in on this, and you need to experience all of these scents. Find out which one is your favorite. And what you are going to do, you're going to go to this link right now, GuyFawkes.com/netters, and you're going to pump in promo code Friday. And what Guy Fawkes is doing for you, they're going to take $10 off your first purchase and offer you free shipping. You're going to get this whole kit with all of these scents. You get to try out every single one, figure out what you like, and then you can stock up, baby. This is why Guy Fawkes is changing the game, and they're going to put you in that 90% of guys that smell good. They're going to put you in that category of 90% of women loving how good you smell. And you are now going to be with your boy DP. You're going to be someone who cares about how good you smell, and then you make everyone's life around you better. Guy Fawkes is helping you do that. Like we said, GuyFawkes.com/netters, promo code Friday. Get this starter kit and start smelling good. I also love how you remember the name of the centerman that you kicked out
Yeah, yeah.
in 2005.
Yeah.
Like, that's fucking great.
Yeah,
dude.
Marv. He's still up there. I actually just emailed him the other day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you guys play Orono in the playoffs that year?
We did not.
Okay.
We did not.
Got to tag him back.
Someone from
Yeah,
Tito
that
Grace,
felt
though, at college must have been very upset that we beat him because he broke into my college dorm during one of our games, stole my laptop, boxed it up, and put it under a bridge on campus. In the middle
go
of
to North Dakota?
middle of winter.
Or did
Wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
He he didn't play at North Dakota. He
Yeah.
went to college in North Dakota.
Yeah.
And then was like, I hate TJ Oshie. Yeah.
Yeah, and so he just like.
So like it wasn't a prank. It was just like a vindictive act. He just wanted to.
Honestly, I was roommates with Brian Lee, who won Mr. Hockey that year.
Yeah.
We were roommates. He didn't steal his laptop.
Yeah,
he
right.
literally walked.
Just took yours.
We actually didn't lock our door, so he just
Yeah,
walked
yeah.
into our room, took just my laptop, put it in a box.
How did you find it?
So I called the cops because I was like something happened, which honestly is like scary.
I know.
Yeah.
That's scary as a kid. And then someone ended up finding it, turning it into him, and they're like, "Oh, hey, we got your laptop."
Yeah,
So I got
boom.
it back, but it never worked. It was
Yeah,
out.
God
It was
knows
in
what
North
he did to
Dakota
that.
under
Yeah.
a bridge
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
middle of
it's like
February.
Yeah. If he's listening to this, he
It's
owes
just
us a
frozen
laptop.
solid.
It's just frozen.
Yeah. Oh my
God.
But
that's
I ended up finding out through just like people in the dorms,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I was like,
Of course
whatever.
it was him.
He-
Yeah. Should have been your first suspect,
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah.
Truly, yeah.
I didn't know him. I never met him, never
Yeah,
confronted him,
It's
but
absolutely bizarre.
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
Jeez.
dude, to just put a bow on it, 3 incredible years, 2 state championships. What did this experience mean to you just as a player and like a person? You talk about being back here for the first time. So just what does that mean to you?
Man, it was almost kind of like honestly, it was like the start of kind of just me like thinking that maybe
Yeah,
there's
keep playing.
I can keep going.
Yeah.
I'm very naive, and I kind of just always, I was like, oh, I'm just gonna, when people ask you, like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I'll play in the NHL.
Yeah.
And it was just like, that was it.
Yep.
I wasn't like, my dad wasn't taking me training 7 days a week or anything like some of these crazy kids
I know,
anymore.
dude.
Yeah.
Like, it was just, I played all sports and had fun, but eventually I was going to play in the NHL. And this tournament, this experience, even just like walking down here where the Wild walk, going into the locker room, and there's like attendants in like red jackets outside the door. Like, as a little kid, you're like, wow.
Oh,
like,
dude,
their
it's
job
huge.
is just to stand there
Yeah.
and like make sure no one bothers like
Yeah,
me, which
you. Yeah.
is impossible because you're high school kids.
Yeah.
Like, you don't care what's going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
But and so it kind of put just like a belief into me that, man, like shit, maybe I can keep playing.
Yeah.
Also, the first thing it really cemented, I think, my relationship with my teammates and that crew, and we're all kind of spread apart. Some still in World, but when we get back together for like the golf tournament in the summer, like
Yeah, it's
it's like
right back
it's
to where
like
you
we
were.
just
Yeah.
won,
That's
and
the
so
best.
it's
God,
So
super
special.
cool.
Yeah.
Anytime you win, you do something that's very hard, and you succeed at it with somebody, they just kind of become like
Yeah.
It's family.
your brother for life.
100%.
Forever, dude.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. So
And then how cool, dude, is it that now you with Warroad Hockey Co. getting to see all these kids doing what you did 20 years ago, rocking the Tylo, rocking all the gear, like all the kids walking around with hats right now. Like, that must be a kind of cool, proud moment for you.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's even when the brand, started doing well and getting more recognition, that I didn't even think that this is like a possibility. So
Yeah.
when my partners called me, and I think it was in like the fall, and they're like, "Hey, I think we're gonna do state tournament." And I was like, "No way!"
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know how the world works.
Sick.
Right? Obviously, you need sponsors for things, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and you don't when you're a hockey player, you're just a kid until you retire.
Yep.
Right? You're still like, yeah, you're a grown up, you have kids and stuff, but like, you are a kid.
Yeah, correct.
Like, I was like, oh yeah, I guess like we're a hockey company and it's the state tournament and
Makes sense.
it makes sense. Like, that's what's supposed to happen.
Yep.
And I was like, this is amazing. And so back then I was like, man, if I'm not playing, like, I have to make the tournament. I
Yeah,
got to go
yeah,
back. I got to get the mini donuts.
Yeah.
And I got to see these kids on the ice.
Yeah. Dude, we go to the media availability yesterday. Like, they bring some of the kids in. They all look terrified.
Oh, yeah.
This one kid walks in. He's got the Tylo neck guard on, and he's ripped the sleeves off.
Yeah, cut
That's
off.
all he's wearing. And
Dude.
we're like, this is such a good War Road moment.
I saw your guys' post. And I was like, what that kid probably doesn't know is there's a lot of NHL guys that actually are like,
Oh, hell yeah.
they like the very first before we had the neck guards, our very first tie-low has our padlock on it that holds your sleeve, your elbows in.
Yeah.
And I was so proud of this. I'm like, oh guys, look, like I engineered this. Well, I mean, I just had the idea.
Yeah.
My team actually put it together,
Yeah.
but and I was like so proud of it. And the guy's like, oh sweet. And then I was like, try it out, man. And then we go, and we're in DC or practice. I'm like, put my skates on. I look over, the same guy I was talking to, literally sleeves cut right off. And I was like,
You know how much effort
This
went
was
into
the
that?
genius.
do you know how expensive that sleeve is? Do you have any idea how much money went into that those sleeves? And I was like, oh well.
Yeah.
Hey,
he's
whatever
rocking
works.
it.
Whatever works.
Yeah.
He's rocking
Yeah.
it.
I will say that Minnesota high school hockey players, they're not scared of making their own styles.
Correct.
You
Dude,
can tell from the hockey
we got
hair,
a sense of that. Yeah, we got
and
a
you
sense
can
of that.
now you can tell from the clothes.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It's the best. Getting into the NHL right now, want to get your thoughts on Four Nations, because obviously 2014 was the best. How cool was it for you watching NHL guys suit up in a best-on-best international tournament again?
Honestly, I think it is so long overdue.
Oh,
Yeah, dude.
And maybe you don't get the same amount of fire if they have been doing that every year.
Yeah.
But a lot of these kids, they weren't in the NHL in 2014.
Yeah.
So they didn't play in the Olympics.
Yeah.
And maybe since then their team's been in playoffs and they didn't play in any world championships. So a lot of these kids probably grew up playing World Juniors. What's the other one? The other under 17s. Is that one of them?
U17s.
Yeah.
I definitely wasn't good enough yet to make that
Yeah.
team, but so they have this like upbringing of like playing for your
International
country
hockey,
and
yeah.
like hating Canada,
Yeah.
right? And we play hard against the other teams too, but we hate on the ice we hate Canada.
Yeah,
and
oh, for
Canada
sure.
hates us.
Yeah.
And so to see like that fire come out on them, I think it's like, all right, this is my chance.
Yep.
I got the red, white, and blue on again. I don't have to go against, usually for me in the Olympics, I was like, thank God I don't have to play against my team. These guys that are on my team, because like I hate playing them.
Right.
Oh, dude.
And you go to war. So I think it was super special for those kids to experience that. One other thing is I loved how good USA looked against Canada.
Dude.
Because when I was coming up, Canada they were just better.
Oh, Big Brother.
They were,
Yep.
they were way better. And we
Yeah.
tried our best. And the games are usually tight, but USA now looks like they're right there.
Oh, yeah. And I actually really loved so many. I mean, Coop said this. So many of the guys on Canada after they won said it. They were like, we are the exact same team. Like, they
Yeah.
are just as good as us. They beat us once. We beat them once in OT. Like, USA can play with Canada all day right now.
Yeah.
And I'm with you. It's like, it hasn't really felt like that it's been this neck and neck
Yeah.
in my lifetime.
Yeah.
No.
You
Yeah.
know, it's crazy.
It's a huge testament, I think, to USA Hockey and just bringing these kids up. And I think probably social media and things like that helps because they can kind of see things and now
Yeah.
emulate. I think a lot more people
sure.
have the ability to watch hockey now. Whereas, in Canada, you could watch hockey. There's
Oh my
hockey
God.
on all
Yep,
the time.
all the time.
In the U.S., not so much.
Totally true.
And so if you want your hockey fix and you're a kid and you love hockey in the U.S. now, you can just pull up
Yeah.
social media. Or you can
Yeah, yeah.
do whatever. And there's millions of YouTubes of different moves and different stuff you can do. So it was great to see the U.S. team hang in there and be right there with them.
Sick.
You're so right, too. It did feel like, even in just Canada, Sweden, it did feel like there was 10 years of pent-up aggression.
Yeah, because you
You're
haven't.
just like, oh my
Yeah.
God, what the fuck is happening?
We've been held back. We haven't been able to go to the Olympics,
Yeah.
which is terrible. And yeah, I think you saw it come out there
For sure.
Because
Yeah.
I mean, to play like that mid-season, like
Dude.
that's at that where that tournament is when your body is at its worst.
Yeah.
That's
good
what,
point. I never thought about
February.
that.
That's
Such a good
that's
point.
when you're like, I'm just like get me to end of March,
Yeah,
please. And for them to like go from feeling like that, and even probably some of them coming in already dinged up, and then just be like, you know what, I'm gonna play like it's game
Full
7.
tilt. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I actually just got chills.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck
That
yeah.
was sick.
And I don't
Love
even.
that. Come on.
Yeah.
I don't even watch a lot of hockey.
Yeah. I watched that, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, it's so
God.
true.
Okay, so you guys are having an awesome year this year. Might win the President's Trophy. But we were talking as the deadline was building up and stuff. This year to us has felt like it's a bit more wide open than in some years. Some years you're like, really only these 2 or 3 teams can win it. But this year it's kind of like, you guys are having an incredible year. It wasn't expected. The Jets are having an incredible year. It wasn't as expected. And then you've got the traditional powerhouses. Does it feel that way to you watching where you're like, this is kind of an interesting year? It's a bit wide open.
It is, yeah. Honestly, I prefer it that way.
Yeah.
I prefer not to have just like 2 powerhouses to be like, them against them in the finals. I'm interested to see what happens in the trade deadline here, because I feel like sometimes like one team does one thing and then the other team's like, oh, now we have to.
Yep.
Which is, I think, the wrong way to go about it. Honestly, sometimes, especially if you're having success, not really doing much is like pretty good, because that means the team is feeding off each other.
Yeah.
And when it comes down to it in playoffs, like, it's more important to have a group of 20 that will work for each other than one really good player to add. You know, it messes.
I love that.
Just messes things up.
Yep.
But there's obviously always good ads at the deadline. But it does seem a little bit more even and more anyone's ball game. It just depends on who's gonna step up.
Yeah,
you know, every year someone steps up, and it's like those guys are not losing.
Yeah, and it's awesome to be a team that has some playoff experience when it's a situation like that.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Dude, it is funny. You're so right. Our gambling buddy was like, "Give me like who are the 2 teams?" And we were like, "I don't know." Like truly, there's so many. But you're so right with the like, if you're a good team, which I think you guys are, it's like, don't panic because so and so trades 3 first-round picks and they get these 3 guys.
Yeah.
It's like you look at Florida last year, they lost in the final the year before, and they were like, we'll be back. And they made small moves, added Oki and Tarasenko, not giving up too much, and then they win.
Yeah.
So that's such a good point. It's like sometimes you don't need to panic.
Yeah.
But it is crazy how much it feels like I could pick 7 to 10 teams right now that I'm like, they could probably win.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane. But speaking of your team, let's talk about Ovi for a second. Scored last night, 10 goals away from Gretz. How insane is it as a brother, a teammate, a friend, has his age, and what everyone expected of him this year, him just leaps and bounds surpassing it. Is it insane for you guys?
Breaking his leg this year.
Yeah, he literally broke his leg. Is it genuinely insane for you guys watching it, or are you like, this is Ovi?
I mean, I'll lean more towards this is Ovi. So it was probably maybe our third year together, which would have been the year we won. In 16-17 season, I tied him for the team leading goals. And, I mean, maybe one of my better life accomplishments.
Yeah.
It was also, I think, the least amount of goals he's ever scored in his life. But still, I was
Doesn't
like...
matter.
That's a fact.
Doesn't matter.
And
But
that is a fact.
everyone then,
Yep.
and I did NHL media tours, and I talked to all the people, and they're like, I mean, I almost got into it with one guy, and he was like, you know, is Ovi ever going to be considered great if he doesn't win a cup? And I'm like, what? Like, what do you? I was like, yeah. I was like, there's a lot of great players that never won a cup.
Yeah, like his Joe.
And I was going
Thornton
through,
dad.
and I was like,
give me a break.
and he's just going through all this stuff, and everyone was like, oh, Ovi's slowing down.
Yeah.
Ovi's, you know, and then that year he just kept scoring,
Yep.
and scoring and scoring and scoring. We won the cup. He wins the Conn Smythe, and it's just like, I just can never doubt this guy ever again. I can't. And so since then, it's like, anytime anyone ever asks me about Ovi, and like, I'm definitely never surprised about anything. And if they ask me if he's going to slow down or if he's going to do it this year, and I literally tell everyone the exact same thing, I'm like, that's completely up to O.
Yeah.
So like,
Yep.
it's up to O. If O wants to do it and he puts in the work for it, he will do it.
Yeah.
I don't care how old he is.
God.
I mean, to break your leg.
It's like, dude, I remember when he broke his leg, and I was like, God damn it.
Derailed
this
the whole
sucks.
season. Yeah.
I was so upset. And then, like, what was it, 2 weeks later, he was skating. And I was like, what the fuck? And, like, boom. I think it was his first or second game back, scores, and I was like, oh, he's just still going to do it.
It's
insane.
amazing. It's completely up to him, I think.
Yeah.
God,
He's
it's
just
still
like,
awesome.
if he wants to do it, he'll do it.
Yeah.
If he wants it bad enough. And it's, I mean, I mean, I tell my kids that all the time. It's like, that's like a nice little lesson to tell your kids, but like it's true for him.
Yeah, no.
And I hope it's true for my kids too.
Yeah,
but like,
exactly.
It's true, and he's just a special human being, special player, and I hope he does it this year.
Yeah.
Me too, dude. He has to, right?
I
Like,
hope he does it this year. If he doesn't, he's gonna get it.
Yeah.
And
But you're so right. Like
it'd
at
be
this
great.
point, I'm like, you got to do it this
Yeah,
year. Like
yeah.
don't do it in game 1
Yeah,
next
yeah,
year.
yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
Although we do play Pittsburgh game 1 next year.
Oh,
really?
fuck.
Dude, you also played Pitt last game this year.
Okay, so
we got
that's a nice little
couple
back to
chances
back
here, dude.
with a couple months in
Couple
between. But
chances. I like
so that would
a
be
lot. Yep.
we hate Pittsburgh, so
Yeah.
that would be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be really
special.
good. That'd be
Yeah.
really good.
I hope it happens in Cap 1 too.
I know there's because there's a lot of odds flying around of like where he's going to do it, and there's
Yeah.
like a back-to-back Columbus game and you're home for one of them, and I was like, that could be it.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
could be there. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
That'd be
awesome.
All I know is there's going to be a lot of people
it's gonna be nuts,
Oh,
dude.
yeah.
Those
at
tickets
all
are going
those when he
crazy.
gets
Yeah,
within
yeah.
3.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
Dude, you
he
can't
scores
miss it.
3.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Once he gets to
So-
3, you have to start going to the game.
Like I'm gonna tell my kid, like, hey, sorry, we're missing soccer tonight, guys. Like,
Yep.
Ovi's
Ovi
could
might
do
break
it.
it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, insane.
Yeah.
Last thing I wanted to ask you about the deadline is because we've heard you had a great story when you came to Washington, and then the story which we will get someday when you re-signed with Washington. But just talk about what is like. This is a pretty stressful time for players. When it's just deadline day. We have guys texting us right now, being like, "What are you hearing? What's going on?" So. Is that weird when you're just trying to focus on the season, but all the rumors are swirling all over the place?
It's very weird. It's very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's a very uncomfortable week. Once you see one trade go, then you're like, I don't know, because it's always like every GM's trying to make their team better, right?
Yeah.
And usually, if you're on the last year of your deal, it's really like, I don't know.
Yeah.
You're a good player on a bad team. A player
yeah.
that isn't having a great year on a good team. It's like everything's just like you just don't know. And so, I mean, there's guys. Sometimes a lot of teams go on like road trips right now.
Oh,
like,
right,
like
true,
4 or
yeah.
5 day road trips, right? And so we've had guys in the past that will literally come. It'll be like a three day road trip, and they'll come with a bag this big,
Yeah.
fully packed with everything that they would need for like a month.
Yeah.
Because they're like,
Dude, that's so
because if
gnarly.
you get traded on the road, you don't go home.
No, yeah.
You go right to wherever
Yeah.
it is, and you're probably playing that next night.
Yeah.
And so you need think of like
Yeah, that's insane.
if you're like, hey, you got to move to
Yeah, you live in Winnipeg.
if you
now.
have to move to
Yeah.
Winnipeg tomorrow, and you can't come back until the summer. Yeah. Then like, what do you pack?
And like,
Yeah.
you're playing in Florida too.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Well, I don't even have the clothes
Yeah.
for that
Yeah.
move. Like, what do you want me to
God.
do?
So
damn.
it's and then you see as a teammate, and if you're someone that you're like, I think I feel pretty good, I'm staying
Yep.
here, and you see a teammate like that, then you're like, oh well, that's obviously his confidence isn't very high
Sure,
right now,
yeah.
and so now you're trying to you want to make him. You got a game probably that night. So
Yeah.
you're like, dude, hey,
We're good. Yep.
you're good, man. We
Yeah.
need you. Just let it go. Let's go get a W. So it's hard. It's different. That's like one of the sucky parts about playing the NHL
Yeah.
is it is a business
Yeah,
and
for sure.
things happen. But when you see the guys bring the massive suitcases for a couple days, you're just like, I wonder what's going through your mind right
Give
now.
him a pat on the back.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll pick up the tab at dinner
Yeah.
tonight.
So
yeah.
funny.
Yeah, I've been there a couple times. I've never packed a big bag,
Yeah.
but it's stressful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you get and then you bring kids into the mix,
Oh, it's brutal.
that's when it gets real crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, think about what you just said. Like, imagine being on the road, getting dealt, and then calling home and being like this, I won't see you for a month because
Yeah.
I'm going to Winnipeg.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I feel like we're sewering
Maybe.
Winnipeg
Yeah.
right now. And
Insane. No.
Winnipeg's only 2 hours from Warroad, so
I know. I actually didn't realize
like
that.
Winnipeg.
They just told me that
There you go.
when we were
Yeah.
here. They were like, it's pretty close to Warroad, actually. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'm
Winnipeg's probably
my
the closest.
Canada geography is fucked. Like,
Yeah.
I have no idea where
Yeah.
anything is.
yeah. I mean, like you say Manitoba, and I think a lot of people are like, I
Yeah.
don't know where
Yeah.
that is.
That
so,
sounds crazy.
yeah.
we had kids at our high school from Manitoba.
No way.
Yeah, that's how high Warroad is up there.
Jesus
They
Christ.
they drive across the border every morning for school.
For 8 a.m. class.
And then, 18 years old to go to the bar up there, so like
Oh,
you know,
dude.
in high school,
Yeah, you
in
pay
high
back.
school,
Does that
you
still
go up there
happen?
for the weekend.
Like, are there kids at Warroad today who are from Manitoba?
Yeah, there should be, yeah.
That is insane.
Wild.
I don't even understand
Is
how
it
that
like
works.
yeah, going through the border?
Yeah, like you're just
Yeah.
showing your passport every
Yeah,
day?
yeah. You just go through the border.
That's
I'm
cool.
pretty sure they get some type of.
They
Like,
must,
They
yeah.
see him every day, right?
Expedited.
Yeah.
And it's not like it's a massive border.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just like
It's
one
like
lane.
a high school easy
Yeah,
pass.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's like zip. We have a test today, dude. Go ahead,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Please.
Oh my god.
Incredible.
All right, dude. Unbelievable chat. We got to go watch some of these games.
Yeah.
But
Well, let's play 2 games.
we're
Let's
going to play
yeah.
a couple games with
Okay.
you before we go.
Okay.
Have you seen us do our blind rankings?
I have not.
Okay, so blind ranking. I'm going to give you a blind ranking.
Okay.
Basically, what this is you're going to rank something that I'm about to tell you 1 to 5, but you don't know what's coming next, so you got to guess. You get what I'm saying?
You
so
and I
like,
are doing it together, so it'll
Okay.
be like, let's say we're ranking
foods.
foods.
And
Okay.
I'll be like,
Pizza.
your favorite Italian food, and I'll
Okay.
be like chicken parm.
Okay.
And you got to decide where on the 1 to 5 scale you want to put it.
You could put it 1, but we don't know what's coming next, so we're like, maybe we save
Oh,
one. So
okay.
something
It's a mental
like,
game.
yeah.
I got you.
So we can fuck
I
up
got
badly.
you. Yeah.
So what we're gonna do is blind ranking
Okay.
guys on Team USA 4 Nations performance.
Oh boy. Okay.
All right, you pick them.
I don't know. I That's gonna be tough.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
Oh yeah, and I promise to not
Sewer
you
us.
guys.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, number 1. Connor Hellebuck.
Okay. I thought he played pretty well. Actually,
Is 5 high?
No,
Five's
the
Five's
best.
the last.
Five's
But
One-
we're,
worst.
one's
we're
the
gonna
best.
caveat this by saying everyone
Okay.
was great.
Yes,
Okay.
of course.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I thought he was very good because he has the playoff. You know, people were like, "Oh, he doesn't really deliver in big games." And I thought he did.
Yeah.
I could go pretty high here, actually.
I might go real high.
Like, you want to go 1? We might have to leave 1 open. But who was better, actually? I could do a 2. I could do a 2 here.
I'm very comfortable with 2.
a 2 out the gate.
If he's not a 2, he's a 1.
Wow.
Yeah, okay.
In my
okay.
book.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
in those
Yeah,
those
he
are all
did-
game 7s.
He
Your
didn't give up
goalie.
much. Actually,
Okay.
now you're talking me into 1, dude. Maybe he is a 1.
I have a 1 in my head if he
Oh,
gets
That's better.
I
Okay,
like
let's
it.
go
called,
2 then. Let's go
and
2.
he's probably not who anyone thinks. But
Okay,
Okay.
let's go 2.
Based on what you just said, it's who my number 1 is,
Okay.
and I can't wait to get
Okay.
there.
Okay.
All right, Austin Matthews.
I want to go. I thought he was more underrated defensively than people give him credit for. He wasn't scoring a lot and everything.
Yeah.
He missed those chances in OT though. That was tough. Maybe 4.
Team captain, lot of
pressure. Good
lot
point.
of pressure. But we're just going on performance.
Yeah.
Some guys had a good tournament.
I know.
I think 4 is good. Although I think he's one of the best players
Of
in
course,
the world.
dude.
So, but for the tournament,
Could we go 5?
It's not up to me, guys.
I'm just thinking like if Austin's watching this,
But like we said, everyone was great.
yeah.
We could go 5. Let's go 4.
Let's go 4.
Okay,
4.
Dylan Larkin.
I thought he was great.
Thought he was great. I don't have him in the 1 though.
Okay. So
Personally.
I think we need to go 3 because I can't go
3.
5 there.
Yeah.
Because I think he was better than Austin, so we're going 3. We're going
3.
3 with Larks. But I
Going
thought he had a
3.
great tournament.
Okay.
Was that your 1?
Nope.
Oh,
Okay.
really? I thought that would have been
W.
good.
That's
my,
a W
that's
for
my
me.
boy.
Yeah, yeah.
That's my
Okay.
boy. Don't worry. Next one. Trying to think of what I want to do.
It's
You
a
guys
1
are-
or 5.
Yeah, this has
Yeah.
to be 1 or 5.
Let's go, Brock Faber.
Oh, okay. I think we got to go 5 to save your
I think
spot.
it's 5.
And I think that's correct.
He was great though.
He was great, but there's a couple guys. There's one, I don't know if we have the same guy, but there's one that if it gets called for me
Yeah.
too, it has to be 1. So we're going Brock 5, and now we just
Now
gotta
we're
hear
locked
it.
into
Yeah, now
1.
we're locked at 1.
Okay.
Number 1 player.
I promise I'm not changing. This was always going to be the last one I said. Jacob Slavin.
1.
1.
Yeah.
Is that your 1?
1.
1.
For sure.
100%.
100%. Dude.
100%.
In
He
tho-
was insane.
In those games, to have someone as like a forward that you just know is going to get the job done when you mess up, or
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just, yeah. And I played against
Incredible.
him, and it's so frustrating.
There were some times where McDavid had a full head of speed coming down 1-on-1, looks up, sees Slavin, and he would pull up and be like, I'm going to wait for the cavalry here. And I'm like, that is
Yeah.
so much respect. Holy shit. But I don't know if you remember this play, the final game, he fucking laid down in front of a shot
From Jarvie.
and like rotated his body and swung his back leg up and blocked it off the back of his leg. And I was like, this guy's out of his, out of his mind.
Unbelievable.
It was unbelievable.
Dude, it was such a coming out party, I think,
Yeah.
for not casual, but just more average NHL fans.
Yeah.
Because they were like, who the fuck is this guy? And I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, he's nasty, dude.
Well,
Yeah.
guys, that was a pretty good list.
Great list.
Well
I actually
done.
feel so it was,
I thought about throwing Brady Tkachuk in at that fourth one and
Yep.
really fucking with you guys.
yeah, because that would have been a
That-
bad
But
fight.
that
would've
would've been a tough one.
That would have been tough. I didn't want you to have to put Brady at
Yep.
5. Well
Okay.
done.
I become, honestly, though, because I haven't watched Faber a lot, and in the tournament, I kind of like some of his stuff. So even though he's in the 5 spot,
Yeah, no, he was great.
He's
He was great.
He's
he's,
impressive,
you know,
dude.
he's a little younger, so I haven't played
Yeah.
that against him.
Okay, here's our
Well,
last game. I'm
okay.
gonna give you both 5 NHL players, and then I'm gonna give you 5 career plus minuses,
Oh, okay.
and you have to match them.
Okay.
And I'll tell you which ones you got right. Like, you gotta
Okay.
keep going till you get them all.
Okay.
okay.
So
Hold on,
you're-
I'm going to write these down.
Okay, yeah. Tell me when you're ready.
I am ready.
Okay, your 5 players are Tom Wilson, Evgeny Malkin,
Okay.
Evgeny Kuznetsov,
Okay.
Alex Pietrangelo, and David Backes.
Ooh.
Man,
And
This
the plus
is-
minuses
this is tough.
This
are
is tough.
plus 64,
Jesus Christ. That's got to be Gino.
plus 38, plus 17, plus 6, minus 23.
Oh, my God.
Talk it out, boys.
First of all, shame on you because
Now you got to sewer somebody.
sewering
now you got to
someone.
guess
Yeah.
someone's minus 23.
What were the
Okay.
names again?
we got
just-
Willie. Yeah, we got
Yeah.
Willie. We got Gino, Kuzi, Petro, and Bacchus. I feel like 64 has to be Gino.
You know what's hard about the really good players?
They're on the
is
ice a lot.
They're on the ice 6-on-5 for
Yeah.
empty netters.
Oh, dude, great tidbit.
So, like the last 3 years or so that we haven't been
Interesting.
where we were. Like I've always kind of been a plus player.
Yeah.
But we've been down in a lot of games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so in any given year, you eat 15
Dude, that
5,
is
6-on-5
such a dagger.
dashes, and then sometimes you get down 2 and you go back out and you pull the goalie
Yeah.
again. And you're like, no,
God damn
no,
it.
send unit 2 out.
Yeah, that's a nightmare, dude. Oh my god, that's
Oh,
hilarious.
shit.
So it throws a little wrinkle into.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, by the way, this is a dash 23.
Yeah.
I got to put that there.
I think Bacchus is in the positive.
You do.
Yes.
Damn. That I was gonna sewer Bacchus.
This is everyone Oshia's played with or against
Yeah.
a lot. So
I think Bacchus is going to be in the
What
positive.
about those Anaheim years though? To end it,
Yeah.
those could have been tough.
Those could have been tough.
Who do you? Let's start from the top. Who do you think is the plus 64?
I think it's Petro or Malkin.
God. All right, I want Malkin.
Okay, Malkin.
So let's go Gino 64, but then let's go Petro 38,
Okay.
and then so we got 17, 6,
Gosh,
and
that's
23.
tough.
Do you feel like Kuzi's low?
I don't know. He got so many points.
Yeah.
This is so hard.
I know,
This
hard.
is like the hardest game.
Doing it,
ever.
having an NHL player doing this and admitting it's hard too is
Dan
very
and
helpful.
I usually get 0 right the first time.
Okay.
All right, so we're going. Hold on, we're going Gino, Petro, and then
let's put. All right, I guess maybe we can throw backs to minus 23.
okay.
Sorry, DB.
Sorry. It's the Anaheim years though.
And
No
then
offense, Anaheim.
And let's go
17, 16.
let's
Let's
go.
go
Kuzi Tom.
Kuzi Willie. Okay, so we're gonna go down the line. We're gonna go Gino, Petro, Kuzi, Willie, Bacchus.
You got 0 correct.
Can we go one by one?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's get the minus 22 out of here.
Yeah. All right. Minus 23
Or 23.
is. Who did we just have? We had Tom Wilson.
You just who did you just have? You had
We had
We just
Bacchus.
had Bacchus.
Oh, you had Bacchus. Yeah. Okay. And is who do you want to guess now?
Well, it's just we had Willie as our second lowest.
Incorrect.
Dude, it might be.
Is Bacchus plus 64?
Yes.
No
I told you.
way.
I
dude,
told
this is
you.
on me. I blew it.
We went DV minus 23s plus 64.
Oh my God! Yeah, you knew it. This is my fault.
You knew it, dude. When you said that,
dude,
you were
we were-
like, Bacchus might be positive.
We were so all our time in St. Louis, we were the shutdown line,
Legend.
right?
Yep.
So we were going against Datsuk.
Yeah.
We were
So
going
funny,
against
dude.
all the top lines. Like when we played Caps, we went
Yeah.
against Ovi.
Yeah.
Like, and our whole philosophy was just don't be minus against the top line.
Yeah.
And if we're +1, we're probably gonna win the game.
Yeah, right.
And so,
Dude.
one year together, I mean, we all had like career highs. Me, him, and Steen.
God,
and we
that's so
must have been.
sick.
I don't know what we were there,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
we
I
were
saw
high.
those seasons when I was
Yeah.
doing this.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you've got Bacchus, and you've got some data on the dash.
By this logic, I think we go Gino-23.
Throw it.
Gino-23. We're thinking empty netters, and we're thinking just the reverse logic.
and guess the rest of them too.
Okay.
So you have Gino minus 23.
Gino minus 23. We got Bacchus locked there.
Kuzi at 6.
I like it. And then Tom at 38. Tom at 38 and Petro at 17.
I think you already had Petro at 17, so I would
So
flip
Petro
those.
and Kuzi swapped.
Yep. Okay, you got Tom at 17 correct, and Gino at minus 23 correct.
Also, we just missed on.
So you got to flip Kuzi, which you were on, dude. Kuzi plus 38.
38.
You know,
Yeah.
he had a lot of points.
And
Kuzi
Willie
plus
6.
38. No, Tom
Willie
got 17.
17, yeah.
Petro 6.
Holy shit, dude. Gino
Kuzi-
minus 23.
We need to work on our teamwork a little bit here. I think
Big time.
We should do better than that.
Kuzi blew my mind, plus 38.
Yeah.
In my mind, I was like, hey, he plays loose, whatever.
You
he's all
got
over
us
the place.
back on track with DB being up there at
Insane,
64.
dude.
That
Yeah.
is, I feel terrible.
Insane.
We sewered him.
People do not score.
Yeah,
do not
against
score
him.
against
Legend.
his line.
Legend.
Holy
just-
hell.
Yeah.
Isn't that epic?
That was exhilarating.
Gino minus 23 also shocked me.
Yeah, that's
empty
shocking.
netters is a great
It's
stat.
empty netters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what a time.
What a time.
What a
With
time
empty
to be
netters.
talking about
Empty
that.
netters.
That is crazy.
Amazing.
I want to give a little shout out to my boy Nice here after his
Yeah, look
tilt
at
last night too. By the way.
Sick.
How about that? That was a ferocious fight. Tyler.
Ferocious.
Yeah.
He does it all,
Skill
dude.
guy.
I love him.
Yeah.
Absolutely
I do too.
chucking.
Yep.
It's insane.
The first time I saw him, I told the team, I was like, dude, I think he's gonna be
We
good.
need him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was when he just signed. He just played like a couple games.
Yeah.
Out of college.
Yeah. Dude, because he came up, he was nasty in college,
Disgusting.
and then came up and was
Right
an
when
immediate impact.
Right
yeah.
when I saw him, I was like, he's
Yo.
gonna be good.
Yeah.
Beautiful stuff. Let's go watch some hockey.
Boom.
Huge shout out to the Minnesota State Hockey Tournament. Huge shout out to Osh, our boy, and huge shout out to War Road, all the amazing guys there, all the cool shit that they've got going on. That is it for us today at the Empty Netters Podcast. A doozy. A doozy of an episode, a doozy of a trade deadline. Lots of stuff to stay locked in on here coming up. Cannot wait to keep bringing it all to you. And until we see you next time.
I want to throw a quick shout out to one of our biggest fans who you met in Boston, Matt Glenn, Matty G. 30th birthday yesterday. Happy birthday, buddy.
Wow. Also, can I give a quick shout out?
Yep.
Shout out to our boys in New Zealand. Bunch of fans, couple of beauties hitting us up in the DMs. They're a blast. They're dialing in all the way from Kiwi land. You love to see it.
So all you Kiwis and Matty G, skate hard.
Oh, yeah.